Oh god, no. Stop. I was busy, I'm sorry. I was in the middle of clicking things. Right, I have my chapter 1 slot. Alright. See here. Negativo. Yeah. Ah, boom. I don't remember what the... Again, I have the memory capacity of a goldfish. Negative or neutral? I'll take the neutral then. For the sake of clicking less buttons. I want to get to the part where Remy goes, meep, meep. It's very funny. It's like my favorite part of the fast forward version. She goes, meep, meep. I don't remember when that happens. It's very humorous. It's so quiet around here. I have nothing new to add at this point. Gotta get to the point where there's new stuff to talk about. And not there yet. I don't want to do this. Ah. I don't even know why I'm bobbing and weaving. Just out of principle. I don't know. Positive or neutral? Again, for the sake of pressing less buttons, I'll take the neutral, as I have seen them all. Sword is so cool. Neutral. Look at me more. Yes. For her, it's so silly. For her, I wouldn't mind begging on my knees. Apparently, yes. I wish she'd step on me, actually. Also, yeah, apparently, yeah. Sword's going to run me through, isn't it? I can tell. God. So, I mean, yes. Just yes. She's going to kill me with that sword. Not quite. But based on all the other things, I'm going to assume it's going to be close. Alright. I don't need to see this man get Anakin Skywalkered. Again. Although, considering that last ending, I suppose I kind of do, actually. Yeah, heck that guy. Oh. I forgot which button is the lock. Oh god. I don't want to accidentally press the wrong one. Yeah, I got it right. For the Shibuya station, there's an old train car called the Green Frog. It's called the Green Frog? Why is it called the Green Frog? That's open to visitors. Sena Aoi was sitting inside the car. She bit her thumbnail as she watched people coming and going outside, a bored expression on her face. This was where she'd met Takumi Nishijo the other day, and now she was back here again. She didn't go to school. She didn't think she had time. There was a constant sense in her mind that time was running out. It made her angry and annoyed, and she took it out on everyone she met. Sena said to herself, her voice filled with hate. She stuffed a hand into her uniform pocket and took out a single piece of paper. It looked to have come from a small memo pad and was badly wrinkled. Written on the paper was a complex row of numbers and letters that seemed to be some kind of formula. But perhaps because it was written in pencil, or maybe because so much time had passed since it was written, the writing was faded to the point of almost becoming impossible to read. I don't know, it's pretty legible to me. I can, see it. Also, that does not look like pencil. Anyways, the most you could make out was IR2. Again, gonna have to disagree, but moving on. It was something that Sena's father had once written. It wasn't a keepsake or a treasured memory. To Sena, it was something she needed to keep from forgetting. It was something she needed to keep from forgetting how much she hated him. Sena's family had once been happy, but ever since her father had written that formula on this piece of paper, things had slowly, quietly, but surely started to go wrong. Also, I imagine the thing with the laboratory and the emaciated baby. I feel like that probably also had something to do with it, but Sena's father was a scientist working for a large corporation. Sena was only in elementary school at the time, and she didn't really know what he did, but she knew he was a busy man. He almost never came home. When he did, he was always really nice to her, but he'd never be home for more than a day. He'd be back to work almost immediately. At the time, she wasn't mad at him for never being home, but she had almost no memories of her family eating dinner together, which bothered her a little. Then one day, about 6.5 years ago, her normally calm and quiet father came home in a flurry of excitement.
Sena, 父さんはすごい発見をしたぞ。これはノーベル賞どころの騒ぎじゃない。
何がそんなにすごいの？
この公式はこれまでの世界の仕組みをも変えるだろう。それほどの大発見なんだ。
Then he took a sheet off a memo pad to write out the IR2 formula for her.
ずっと探していたんだよ。父さんではどうしても思いつけなかった。プロジェクトノアは停滞していた。手詰まりだった。
Ironically, this formula is not what the first 3 letters of it imply it is.
だが、この方式があれば、計画は次の段階に進めるんだ。まさかあんなところで見つけるなんて思いもしなかったよ。これはまさに信仰の救いだね。東京駅だ。たまたま通りかかったんだ。本当に偶然だった。セナは東京駅に行ったことはあったかな。やたら広いだろ、あの駅の構内は。その構内の一角にたくさんの作文が展示されていたんだ。文部省の全国なんとか作文コンクールとか、そんな名前の展覧会だったよ。優秀な子供たちの作文が飾ってあってね。セナ知ってるかい？もしかして応募したりしたかい？
わかんない。多分知らない。
セナが出ればきっとセナも優秀作品に選ばれていたんじゃないかな。
そんなことないよ。私、作文は苦手。
そうか？もっと自信を持つべきだと思うがな。
ねえ、作文がすごい大発見だったんだ。
いやー、違う違う。そうじゃないんだ。作文なんてどうでもいいんだよ。重要だったのは、その裏に書かれていた落書きなんだ。そこに飾られていた作文は、透明のプラスチックの額に収められていてね、裏側も見ることができた。それは多分、演出とかそういうものじゃない。たまたま透明なだけだったんだろうね。きっと主催者には作文の裏の落書きを見せようなんて気はなかったはずなんだ。だからこの公式を父さんが見る確率はそれこそ天文学的数字だったわけさ。これが奇跡というやつなのかな。
公式っていうことは算数なんだね。
ああ、そうだよ。すごく難しい算数だ。
算数で世界を変えられちゃったりするのかな。
ああ、変えられるよ。父さんの研究はね、世界を変えることなんだ。
ほんと？信じられないな。
いつか証明してあげるよ。見ていてくれ、セナ。
6.5 years had passed since then. Sena gritted her teeth and shoved the paper back into her pocket. She looked up at the cloudy sky outside the windows. Her dad had been right. The world was about to change. Things around Sena had already changed dramatically. The world was being reborn into something ugly and awful. The worst kind of world imaginable.
そんな世界は作らせない。奴を殺して私が止めてやる。
Whee! Oh. Oop. Oh, there he is. I still can't believe I missed him with like the first 3 run-throughs. It's just right there. He's just sitting there. He's just chilling. That's crazy. There he be. He doesn't even really blend that seamlessly into the background, so like it's not even that subtle. He's just there. Another crazy chick. I love that line. Hers is definitely second place in best D-swords list that I totally will make someday. I don't know. There's only like 7 of them, right? Sena's is the coolest, hands down. Oh, Bon. He's gone. Nude gem. Gets me every time. Secret meeting of the Legion of Evil. Speaking of getting Anakin Skywalkered, I really wish I hadn't said that. Time and place. Sarah, you're the worst. You're the worst character, non-character in this game. Does she count as a character? I feel like you could argue either way. Character, plot device, I don't know. Hell out of here with your asymmetrical face. You're the worst.
よ。
I appreciate the game slowing down for a sec just to tell me that. You know, I really needed to hear that today. Thank you, Kozupi. I really appreciate that. Some days you just need to hear that, you know? I love that picture. Oh, that's like such a great picture. It's beautiful. The 7th murder. Another one. Another new gen murder. How long was this going to keep happening? The next one be the one where they finally got me? The one after that? Anyway, had Grimm gotten a job at the new gen advertising division or something? He was constantly telling me about them whenever one happened. Once again, he'd posted a bunch of links to news sites too. This must have been his way of telling me to look at them. Oh my god. I clicked the link and bit down hard on my lip. Slicey, slicey. Cocoon puzzle. Wish they replaced my top half with that of a hot guy. That's maybe
今日
don't.
午前4時50分頃、東京都渋谷区の線路沿い
Maybe
で
just don't.
男性3人の他殺死体が鉄柱に吊り下げられているのを通りかかった新聞販売員の男性が発見しました。警察の調べによりますと、殺されたのはいずれも渋谷区に住む無職藤田康平さん、大学生の安沢三郎さん、とび職の高木亮さんの3人です。3人とも胴体の部分が切断され、それぞれの上半身と下半身が別々に入れ替えられて糸で縫合されていました。
Gross.
3人の額にはそれぞれ謎の傷がつけられており、警察では犯人からのメッセージではないかとみて調べています。渋谷では2ヶ月ほど前から猟奇殺人事件が頻発しており、警察では今回の事件も同一犯による犯行の可能性が高いとみて捜査を続けています。
The last video I saw showed the faces of the 3 murdered men. I recognized their faces.
あいつらだ。昨日僕に絡んできた。
I gave them my wallet, but they still attacked me anyway. I passed out, and when I woke up, Kozupi was there. The 3 of them were covered in blood. I took my wallet out from my pocket and stared at it. When I'd woken up, Kozupi was holding my wallet. She'd given it back to me. Could she be the one who... No, that wasn't right. When I'd seen them last, their faces were smashed up and they were covered in blood, but they certainly weren't sliced in half. They'd been killed after Kozupi and I had left. It had to be Shogun. He was taunting me. He was trying to destroy my mind. I felt like I was about to throw up. My stomach was racked with pain. I put my hands up against it hard to try and make it go away. Would I be next? Would the next one finally be the one where I was killed? There was a chance that Shogun would come back. He seemed to be coming after me as some sort of game, which meant that the next quest might start whenever he felt like it. That scared me. The only reason I'd wanted a D-sword in the first place was because I was so scared of him. How was I supposed to protect myself from him without the sword? I felt like there was a knife at my throat, like somebody was saying they could kill me at any time. Please, just leave me alone. What did I ever do to you? I'm just so tired of this all. Somebody save me. Where did Remy go? Wasn't she supposed to protect me? No, I couldn't count on Remy anymore. I'd gone to school today and she hadn't even been there. It was like she had never been there at all. I needed somebody to protect me. Somebody other than her. And the first person that came to mind was...
お前が望むと望まないとに関わらず、もしこれ以上踏み込んでくるようなら、負を正にするぐらいの強い意識を持つんだな。中途半端な気持ちじゃ妄想に食われるだけだぞ。
I'm gonna be honest, out of all the ones so far, she is the first one that would come to my mind. Like, she makes the most sense. Yes, she's mean and kind of scary, but like, as far as like, she seems to know the most of what's going on at any given time. So like, if I were in Takumi's position, she would be the first one I would think of to hey, help me not die, please. Sena Aoi. She'd given me that warning before we'd said goodbye the other day. You can just go. Door's open. You can literally just go. You don't have to stand there. Oh my god. She knew something, and she had a D-sword too. She looked kind of strong too. Would she save me? I needed her to, really badly. Hey, was it the green frog? I already forgot the name. It was a silly name. The next day, I headed to the area in front of the station. I didn't want to go at all. The events at O-Front had left me with traumatic memories of Scramble Crossing. There were so many people around, like always, and the Hachiko statue especially had so many couples around it. Everybody was either grinning at me or pointing their cell phone cameras at me. If I looked behind me, I'd see that huge O-Front building where I'd humiliated myself last night. The videos from that night were probably online, where they'd been shared around the globe for the rest of eternity. Where'd they'd be? Anyways, there was no way I'd ever manage to get them all deleted. Where'd they'd be? Okay. Definitely a typo. People would be using that video to make fun of me until the day I died. It was so frustrated, sad, and irritated that I wanted to run away, but if I did, Shogun would kill me. So I stayed. I tried my best not to look at the people around me, and then, trembling, I set foot inside the train car they called the Green Frog. It is the Green Frog. Now I understand why it's called the Green Frog. It's green. Still don't understand the frog part. Anyways, Sena Aoi was there, just like I thought she'd be. She was the only one in the car. The doors are open, stupid! You can just go! You can just go. It is cracked for your exiting pleasure. You can leave. You are acting like you cannot leave. You can just go. You can just go. Oh my god. I'd never thought about it before, but maybe that... Damn it. Go! Open! Cat. I'd never thought about it before, but maybe the reason that nobody else came in was that she'd done something somehow. Was it her gigalomaniac power?
お前か。エラーを見つけたのか。
I shook my head a little and offered her the Garugari-kuns I'd bought at the store. This was what the Japanese called nothing special. Okay, I'm gonna take your word for it, my guy. I brought you this gift. It's nothing special, but... Oh, thank you. I see. That's funny. I was following Japanese tradition, you see. If you went to see someone, you were expected to bring a gift. I didn't expect her to protect me for free. That's really funny, actually. Basically bringing protection money in the form of popsicles. I'd pay her 3 Garugari-kun popsicles a day. With an offer like that, Sena was sure to agree.
くれるのか
That's so funny.
ありがとう
Why do I feel like I'm at the like I'm talking to the mob? Like she's the Dawn or something. Like that's gonna favor. Oh, this is really funny. Sena took them with much less questioning than I thought. She'd fallen for my trap.
西条は何味が好きだ私は断然ソーダ味だな
She ripped open the plastic and took out the popsicle. Maybe I was just imagining it, but it felt like she had a grin on her face. She must really like Garugari-kun. Sena, if you eat too many, you'll get sick.
僕がコーラ味。
なんだとコーラ味なんて邪道だふざけるな
Okay, now you're crossing a line, Sena. You can't judge someone for their taste in popsicles. For shame.
すいません。
That is... She got mad at me. I didn't think it was worth getting mad at someone over, but I couldn't upset her here. Something my...
それで
She gave me a questioning glance as she began to nibble on her popsicle.
私に何か用か
Ugh, could Sena do anything to make herself look less intimidating? She always looked so angry. All I was doing was asking for help, but I felt like my nervousness was going to kill me. I wasn't even that good at talking to 3D girls in the first place. I took several deep breaths and somehow managed to calm myself down.
僕を助けてほしい。
どういう意味だ
僕はニュージェネの真犯人に、狙われてる。この前話したでしょ。将軍っていうやつなんだ。僕はきっとそいつに思考盗撮されてる。
思考盗撮かそいつ何者だ
知るもんか。僕が聞きたいぐらいだ。
この渋谷で思考盗撮できる連中なんて限られてるギガロマニアックスかあるいは望みの連中か
望み
望みテクノロジープロジェクトノアによって世界を手に入れようとしてる
What? Isn't that what they usually call a conspiracy theory? Maybe Shogun was working with them.
僕を助けてよ。頼むよ。
I started to feel worse and worse. I just wanted somebody to cling to, somebody to save me. Sena took another bite out of her Garigari-kun. Her eyes narrowed.
言ったはずだ中途半端な気持ちで踏み込むなら妄想に食われるとお前には覚悟があるか
ないよ。あるわけないだろ。僕はただ助けてくれって言ってるんだ。こんなのもううんざりなんだ。なんで僕ばっかり。
I dropped to my knees. Forget about me. Protect me. What did I ever do to any of you? I didn't want to do anything.
覚悟はなしか
I could feel her cold glaze. I knew... Glaze? What? That's not the right word. I could feel her cold gaze. I knew how pathetic I looked. I couldn't look up. Is there supposed to be a period there, or is that the first part of the next sentence? Nope, there was just...
その将軍というやつは気になるなもし望みの人間ならニュージェネ事件も連中が起こしてるということかだとしたらそれを捨ておくわけには
She was looking out the window and mumbling to herself. She was frowning, lost in thought, but still eating her Garugari-kun popsicle. That is difficult for me to say for some reason. After a moment, she suddenly stood up from her chair and came over to me.
私に守ってほしいのか?
Yes, please. Damn it. Why did she always have to look down on me whenever we spoke? Did she think she was a queen or something? In my mind, I was angry at her, but in the real world, I was just nodding along helplessly. Man, that is the biggest
それは
mood.
つまり、私とお前はこれから行動を共にするという意味だ。それでもいいんだな。
I'm okay with anything as long as you'll protect me. My top priority now was protecting myself from Shogun, my greatest enemy.
本当に守ってくれるなら文句は言わない。
決まりだ。
I'm gonna be honest, I was not expecting it to go this smoothly. I mean, I doubt it will continue to do so, but yeah. She reached out her hand. I didn't know what she meant, so I just stared at her long, lithe fingers. She looked frustrated for a second before grabbing me and pulling me to my feet. She's trying to shake your hand, my guy. Just... Our eyes met for a second, although it makes sense why he wouldn't understand that. She was looking into my face at point-blank range, so I quickly looked down. She let go.
じゃあ行くぞ。
She turned her back to me.
行くってどこへ?
So I was just gonna be following her around like a lost puppy.
のぞみテクノロジーの本社だ。
はあ?
これから乗り込む。
Break in? To the enemy's HQ? No. What was this idiot thinking? Was she suicidal or something? I'd screwed up. I was an idiot to go to her for help. I'm not going. I'm definitely not going there. I'm the guy who says to the hero, you can't go, it's suicide. Not the hero who actually goes and commits suicide. I stood there with my mouth open, gaping like a fish. Sena ignored me and left the train car. I decided there was no way I was going anywhere. And then I realized my arm couldn't move. I looked down at my body. Oh, Jesus Christ, what did she do to him? There was a white chain wrapped around me. It was wrapped tight, too. I tried to pull it off, but it didn't move. Who'd put it there? When? What was going on? Alright, I take back what I said about the handshake. Apparently she was trying to fucking chain him up.
ぐずぐずするな。
Yo, you're stuck now, buddy boy. Sena looked at me, poking her head up against the train car window. The chain holding my body jerked forward. I tried to stay where I was, but my body wasn't moving like it should. The chain led outside the car and ended in Sena's hand. She was holding it. Sena was holding the chain. So she was the one pulling it? So this was some kind of public humiliation fetish, like with the dominatrix and her slave. Then, okay, I can work with that. Can't really? You're okay with that? Wait, no, I can't. Bark for me. Ugh, I was such an idiot to come to Sena for help. She was the worst choice. Somebody help me. This isn't fair. The Nozomi HQ building was within walking distance of Shibuya Station, but my mental strength felt like it was going to run out before I got there. Sena was walking right through the middle of the city with me wrapped up in a chain behind her. That's really funny. That's really, come on, give me like a picture of that. That's really funny mental image, and I want to see it. Of course, there were any number of people with their phones pointed at us, as if I hadn't been humiliated enough already. Is the chain? Did she real boot the chain? Like, is that, or is? I don't know. There were probably threads up on @chan already. Voice Psychic Nishijo doing human pet play with a black-haired hottie in the middle of Shibuya. The Dukuns were going to tease me again. I kept begging, but Sena wouldn't take the chains off.
今のお前にとって必要なのは目立つことだ。今のところ その目的は達成されてるだろ。
Yeah. I had no idea what the hell she was talking about. What did that mean? I'd never in my life said, Coach Enzai, I want to be a man who stands out. And we were heading into the enemy HQ, too. We could all be killed at any moment. But Sena ignored my pleas. She went inside a fancy-looking building, still holding the chain in her hand. I was literally dragged along behind her. I gasped when I saw how fancy the lobby in front of me was. The Nozomi Group. It was supposedly one of Japan's biggest corporate conglomerates right now. It was a world apart from the daily life of a wimpy school kid like me. I'd never been inside a building like this before, and the size of the lobby and the pretty girls sitting motionlessly at the reception desk staggered me. This was a corporate office, right? Wasn't it supposed to be off limits to the public? Both Sena and I were wearing a Suime uniform. We were clearly both high school kids, and one of us was a weirdo with a chain wrapped around him. I didn't understand how Sena could walk right in like she owned the place. Was she just crazy? Of course, when we went through the automatic doors and saw the receptionist, their eyes met ours.
帰ろうよ。
I hesitated to go any further, but Sena didn't stop.
心配するな。
We walked past the front desk into the elevator hall. Nobody said a word. Why? Oh my god, this drove me nuts. Sena didn't get in one of the elevators. She opened the emergency exit near the elevator hall. There was a dimly lit emergency staircase inside. Only after we were there did she stop.
周囲は
God, that sword is so
私たちを望み
cool!
の社員だと思い
I
込んで
can't get over how cool that sword is. The sense of something pressing up against my body had vanished. I looked up and saw that the chain wrapping around me had disappeared, and now Sena was holding her D-sword in her hand. That chain was a real booted delusion then? And then, the chain Sena had real booted by sending antiparticles into the dead spots of my eyes suddenly disappeared.
望みの社員と思ってるってどういう。
そう思い込ませた。肉眼で私たちを見た人間全員にな。
Neat? Making them believe it? Was that possible? Sena looked up toward the top of the stairs. What looked like a security camera was waiting right there. There was a red light on it, and it was scanning from right to left while making an eerie noise.
監視カメラにも思い込ませることってできるの？
What a dumb question!
やろうと思えばできるかもな。試したことはない。
What?
それに、やる必要もない。
What? Okay,
なんで？
I'm using logic and common sense. I keep forgetting I need to put those away while I'm playing this. I need to put those to the side. I'm not allowed to use those.
スニーキングミッションでは監視カメラを最初に壊すでしょ。常識的に考えて。
At least that's what I'd learned from video games.
言っただろ。お前が目立つことが必要なんだ。
I had no idea what she meant. She was contradicting herself, wasn't she? She wanted to camouflage us by making everyone believe we were Nozomi employees, but I also needed to stand out? Which was it? What was she trying to accomplish here? No one ever explained to me what the hell they were actually talking about. Did they all think I was stupid? Did they all just think there was no point in telling Takumi Nishijo since he just wouldn't be able to understand it? God, I was smart, damn it! My IQ was definitely higher than Sena's, I was sure of it. I don't know about that, my guy. While I stood there, biting my lip in frustration, Sena began to walk up the stairs herself. Was she really going to protect me? No, probably not. She was putting me in danger by forcing me to come here. Also, please don't go on ahead without me. At least tell me that where we're going and what we're doing here. And why do we need to take the stairs instead of the elevator? I'm out of shape.
エレベーターに乗るのは自殺行為だ。
I could hear Sena's voice above me. More mind reading? I sighed and followed Sena up the stairs. When I got to the second floor, Sena was waiting for me. When she saw that I'd caught up, she headed up another flight.
敵の本拠地でエレベーターに乗ったら閉じ込められて身動きが取れなくなるのがオチだろ。
I mean, it's true. It's like the worst idea. Don't use an elevator in an emergency, which I guess also extends to an infiltration.
それはそうだけど。
それより西条、将軍について教えろ。そいつはいつからお前を攻撃するようになった？
1ヶ月ぐらい前から。
話したことがあるんだな。
I nodded. She turned around and looked down at me from above. I can almost see your panties from here, Sena. I quickly looked away.
どんなことを
Please
言っ
don't
てい
kill me.
た？
Please don't kill me. What did he tell me? I told her all about the things Shogun had told me and about how he'd threatened me with a fake kidnapping.
畑野という名前に聞き覚えは？
ないけど。
将軍が言っていたかもしれないだろう。よく思い出せ。
Hatano? I hadn't heard it before.
誰？
プロジェクトノアに関わっていた男だ。
I didn't know him. I didn't even know what Project Noah was.
そうか。知らないなら別にいい。
She turned away from me and began to silently walk up the stairs. They kind of sound the same. Oh.
まだ。
We'd walked up almost 20 flights of stairs with no break. I didn't think I'd ever walked up so many flights of stairs in my life. I was so tired. Please, no more stairs. The sweat was falling from my brow and threatening to get in my eyes. I kept wiping it away, and it kept coming back. My legs were exhausted, and I was so out of breath I thought I'd suffocate. I bent over, hands on my knees, and tried to catch my breath. The sweat fell off and made a puddle on the floor.
あとどれぐらい登るの？
社長室は最上階にあるらしい。31階だ。
10 more flights of stairs? Wait, why was I doing this? I'd asked Sena to protect me. What was I doing up here? I saw that ASCII art of Polnareff's face appear in my mind's eye. You're right. I don't know what's going on at all. I don't know who that is or what that's referring to, so moving on. The sound of my panting echoed through the quiet emergency staircase. Surprisingly, Sena didn't try to go on without me. She leaned up against the wall, staring at me expressionlessly. She was giving me a chance to rest from the looks of it. There was another security camera above her head. There were cameras on all the floors. They must have known exactly where we were for a while now. Security might come for us at any moment.
監視カメラに細工をしなかったのは？
She whispered suddenly.
将軍がもし望みの人間でこのビル内にいるならおびき寄せることができるかもしれないと思ったからだ。
つまり僕はおとりってわけ？
そういうことになる。もともと望みになんか興味はなかったんだけどな。このビルに乗り込むことにしたのだってイレギュラーだ。もちろんいつかはプロジェクトノアを潰そうとは思っていたが、それは今じゃない。それよりも優先しなくちゃいけないことがあった。
She turned talkative all of a sudden. Maybe she was explaining the reason she'd come here? She didn't tell me what it was that she'd had to do first.
お前の話を聞く限り、その将軍は何かを知ってる。あるいは、畑野のことも。
Whenever she said the name, her expression would darken for a moment. Was he some kind of terrible criminal or something?
安心しろ、西条。
He's definitely a
これは
monster,
交換
that's
条
for
件
sure.
だ。お前におとりになってもらう代わりに、私はお前を守る。それにお前だって将軍の正体を知りたいだろ。脅威を排除するにはこちらから攻撃。
She suddenly stopped speaking. Her eyes narrowed. She stepped away from the wall, holding her D-sword at the ready on the small landing.
どうしたの？
Uh-oh. Sena didn't answer. She looked down over the stair railing, and then up, and then froze.
この声、どこから？
I hear like a wind. Voice?
お前、何者だ？
She suddenly screamed. I thought she was yelling at the cameras, but she was looking farther up, at the ceiling. Was it? Terrible thought ran through my mind. I looked up too. Of course, there was nothing there. And I couldn't hear a voice either. I could tell what was going on though. Shogun! He was using satellites in the sky far above us to read her mind, to speak to her.
セナ、その声を聞いちゃダメだ。
Uh-oh.
セナ！
I grabbed her hand. I grabbed her and shook her.
将軍は望みの人間じゃないらしい。
I knew it. Sena had heard Shogun's voice.
騙されてる。あいつは敵だよ。信じちゃダメだ。
音だ。
My hand was on her shoulder. She grabbed it and held it tight. Her nails dug into me. It hurt. I winced.
西条、音がしている。気をつけろ。
Is it one of those backpacks? I don't... Oh, hello? There was a flash of light above us. I saw an image in my mind. A dark room. A pool of blood on the floor. A strange object that looked like a cross. I truly cannot tell how someone sees a cross in that. You crazy. And someone lying helpless, trapped, bound to it. Their clothes stained with blood. Their right hand severed at the wrist. That's an upsetting thing to see. I saw it. I could see every detail. I was sure of who I'd seen. It was Nanami.
ナナミがこのビルのどこかに。
Shogun had kidnapped her after all. The severed hand was real, not a delusion. I had to find her. I hadn't been able to save her, and now she was suffering. I had to find her. This time, I had to save her.
落ち着け、西条。これは罠の可能性が。
さっき君だって将軍の言葉を信じたじゃないか。
I knocked Sena's hand away. The CEO's office was on the 31st floor, right?
違う、音を聞け。将軍の干渉とは別の妄想だ。
I ignored her and started to run. I was tired, but it didn't matter. I was desperate. Nanami was suffering. It was my fault. It was all my fault. I failed last time. I'd run away. Nanami must hate me. Forgive me. I'm such a terrible brother. Damn it. I wanted power. A D-sword like Sena had. Why couldn't I get a D-sword? I wanted it so badly. Nanami, don't die. Please. The 31st floor was large, yet only had one door. I flung it open and saw that it was the room I'd just seen in my mind. There were monitors hanging from the ceiling, all of which had the word Nozomi against a white background. One of them had the very original and creative logo on it of six diamonds. They're not even diamonds, they're just sideways squares. I looked around for Nanami. It was too dark to tell if she was here or not. But...
ナナミ。
It didn't feel like there was anyone here. Nothing moved. Nothing breathed. There was nothing here.
西条
It's like, you fucking idiot! What are you doing? Sena followed me into the room. She grabbed my hand.
今すぐ出るぞこれは罠だ
Yeah.
だってナナミが
聞こえないのかこの音が
Suddenly, the open door slammed shut on its own. The room got darker.
しまった
Well, we're boned. Sena ran to the door and tried to force it open, with no luck. Her D-sword vanished, as if it was melting into thin air.
閉じ込められた
Oh shit, like a D-sword jammer?
力を使えばいいじゃないか
うまく妄想できない
Sena winced and rubbed her temples before shaking her head. I had a headache. I only noticed it after I'd calmed down. It wasn't that bad, but it felt like it was coming from the very center of my head, like it was pounding in time with my heartbeat, a small, barely noticeable pain. My head was starting to feel fuzzy. Where was Nanami? Was this Shogun's trap? Yes! Literally, well, I don't know about Shogun's trap, but yes! You fucked up, my guy! Was Shogun on my side? What kind of stuff does Nozomi Technologies even make? What? What? Sena's tits were pretty flat. Who was... Is it just like flooding his brain with thoughts? Just random thoughts? Who was Hatano? Weird. Why couldn't I focus on a single thought?
バイオ周波数攻撃を受けているぞ
Two of the monitors above suddenly changed what they were showing. They each showed a different man in late middle aged. Oh, we got the, was it Drayden? We got the gym leader?
まったく最近の若者は恐れ知らずだな。もちろん悪い意味でだが。
いかにもおそらく井ノ原先生が推進したゆとり教育の産物だろうね。
I don't remember which one of the old dudes has the beard.
私はただ300人委員会のプランを実行したまでだがな。世界人間牧場計画の一環としては悪くないプログラムだったよ。
What? Who were these people?
それを潰したのも井ノ原先生だというのがなんとも滑稽なところだよ。300人委員会も予想外だっただろうね。
私と倉持先生の野心も知らず、のうのうと世界を牛耳っているつもりなのだろうが、そんな連中に対するある種の宣戦布告だったんだよ、あれは。
I don't know why, but listening to these two talk, I'm literally imagining those two old dudes from the Muppets on the TV screens. And it makes this scene very different than I feel like what they're going for.
世界を掌握するのに300人も必要ない。我ら2人で十分なのだからね。
Oh. Alright. What were these two talking about? Then their bulging eyes turned to look at us.
それにしてもノルセが言っていた通りだったね。まさかここまで馬鹿正直に網にかかる者がいたと。
1週間も放置しておけば衰弱してろくに抵抗もできなくなろう。それから拷問しようとしゃれ込もうではないか。
畑野瀬名はすでにコードサンプル取得済みと資料には。
Sena Hatano? Who the hell was that?
洗脳を施した方が良さそうだ。 我らの兵士としよ
兵士兼慰み者だな。
Yeah, I knew he was gonna
時
say
間
that.
マニアの
Ew.
少女を奴隷とするなど実に気分が良さそうではないか。
Gross.
う。井ノ原先生もお好きだね。
ではギガロマニアックスの諸君、監禁生活をせいぜい楽しみたまえ。
1週間が経つ頃にはプロジェクトノアにより世界は大きく変わっていることだろう。その変革の瞬間を見ることができない君たちに同情するよ。
The faces disappeared from the monitor. The room became dim again. It was a trap. It was a trap. No shit, Sherlock. Damn it. Why would grown adults, one of whom was evidently a Diet member, want to set up a trap? When did they establish that? Did they say that? I don't remember saying anything like that. What? Want to set up a trap for a creepy loser kid like me? Not fair. It's not fair. I mean, to be fair, clearly the trap was for her, not you. They didn't even talk about you, my guy. Nanami wasn't here. She was being held in another room. I felt pathetic for falling for it. I should have just listened to Sena. Oh yeah, I guess he was the one they baited.
衆議院議員と天聖振興会の教祖が
What a
300人委員会の一
bunch of
員だった
weirdos.
とはな。
Sena was slamming her shoulder against the door. It wasn't budging. Maybe it had been locked from the outside. It looked tough, like it was probably impossible to break.
300人委員会
I remembered reading about them in some conspiracy theory. Were they real?
よく考えてみればそれも納得だ。もともと沈黙の兵器の理論を作ったのは300人委員会なんだからな。
さっきのおっさんたちが言ってたプロジェクトノアって何？
Sena moved away from the door. Evidently, she'd given up. She looked around the dim room, frowning.
のぞみテクノロジーが進めている沈黙の兵器開発計画だ。
沈黙の兵器？
一言で言うなら広範囲に作用するマインドコントロール装置だな。思考統率、視覚投影、五感制御。肉体的には損傷を与えることはない。音もないし、色もないし、匂いもしない。目にも見えない。だが確実に多くの人の精神をゆっくりと静かに汚染していく。誰にも気づかれないまま攻撃は完了しているんだ。
まるでギガロマニアックスの力みたいじゃないか。
当然だ。沈黙の兵器はギガロマニアックスを人工的に生み出そうという考えから始まったんだからな。
It was such a bizarre thing to hear that it didn't feel real. But that's just how it went. I wasn't a hero, so even if this incredible conspiracy was real and had been at work right here in Shibuya, I didn't want to try and fight it. Even if I tried, I wouldn't be of any help. Leave it to somebody else who's stronger than me. It was possible that the New Gen murders, as well as the bizarre things that were happening to me, were all part of Project Noah. If that was true, I'd do better to get out of Shibuya right now so they couldn't hurt me. All I wanted was for Nanami to be safe, for me to be safe, to live in peace. But for that to happen, I had to get out of here. I didn't want to spend a week stuck in here, especially since there didn't seem to be any food or water. Right, that's what those old men wanted. A week without food or water would weaken us. It might even kill us.
セナ、なんとかここから脱出する方法を考えてよ。
扉は開かない。
Sena looked tired.
ディソードは
なぜか出せなくなった。力を封じられたか。沈黙の兵器で 攻撃されているぞ、日常。
Attacked? What did that mean? Did it mean there was no way to escape? Sena lay down right on the floor like she was exhausted.
大丈夫？
そう。体がだるい。それになんだか妙な気持ちだ。胸の奥が締め付けられるような。
Sena's breathing was shallow. This is about to get weird. I hope it doesn't get weird. Her chest was exposed, just a little. Who am I kidding? It's this game. Of course it's gonna get weird. I could see the sweat forming on it even in the darkness. Despite everything that was going on, it still looked so sexy. I realized that the room was awfully hot.
なあ、水を持ってないか？
Of course I didn't. I was getting thirsty too. The idea of spending a week without water in this heat made me feel sick. Sena was staring at me. I wasn't capable of looking at a 3D... I wasn't capable of looking a 3D girl in the eyes, so I quickly turned away. But I could still feel her staring at me. Don't look at me.
水はないよ。
I glanced over at her for a second. Our eyes met. Why was she looking at me like that? She looked like a... She looked like... Give me a second. She looked like a young maiden in love. That doesn't seem right. Of course, I was a virgin who'd never had a girlfriend, so I didn't know what a young maiden in love actually looked like. But still, I quickly turned away and audibly gulped. Oh, Lord.
おかしい。気をつけろ、日常。感情を操作されているかもしれない。
え、それってどういう？
お前を見ていると切ない気持ちになってくるんだ。くそ、ふざけた攻撃を。
In other words, they were forcing Sena to fall in love with me? Or maybe she was just in love with me from the start. No, not a chance in hell.
感情を操作って一体どんな仕組みで？
What would they possibly gain from that particular, that particular manipulation?
人の感情なんて結局脳を流れる電気信号でしかないんだ。その電気信号に干渉する技術は世界中で研究されてる。案外とっくに実用化されてるかもしれない。ましてや沈黙の兵器ノア2なら造作もないことだ。分かっただろう。世界は電気仕掛けだと私が言った意味が。
Like a program, maybe. Rows of zeros and ones that could easily be manipulated. It had been scientifically proven that there were electrical signals running through the brain, so whatever you defined as a soul or a mind was electrical too. Huh. So in the end, it's no different than 2D. The heroines from my H games, Liz-O-Lot in ESO, Seiratan from the anime, and Sena. What was the difference between any of them? If Sena was right and the whole world ran on electricity, there was no difference at all. Every one of them was the same. I felt like I understood a little about what Sena meant by errors. That would make Noah 2 a really powerful computer virus, or maybe a PKer using an illegal cheat code. Even Nightheart couldn't beat somebody like that, and I was way more useless than he was. The only thing I was good for was getting a miserable game over by starving to death in a locked room.
僕が悪いんじゃない。死亡フラグ立てまくってる。僕の中の人が悪いんだ。くそ。
Don't look at me, dude. I didn't do this shit. I mean, I guess I kind of literally did, but stop. Not my fault. I covered my head with my hands and curled up into a ball. I didn't do it. I'm just moving along. I'm just trying to follow the story, man. 28 hours passed. Jesus Christ. 28 hours passed since we'd been locked in the room. I'd fallen unconscious several times already. Waves of different feelings were watching over me. One moment I feel... was this supposed to say washing? Or wash it? That would make more sense. One moment I'd feel depressed, the other maniacally excited. It was wearing down my mind. Sena and I said nothing to each other. Sena had been completely useless since she'd been locked in here anyway. Well, that's not very nice. I mean, it's kind of your fucking fault, dude. Like, don't give her too much shit. The one saving grace was that there were computers in this room. There were several other monitors besides the monitors that had been showing the filthy faces of the Diet member and the cult leader. These monitors were all connected to computers. The computers had internet, too. I tried posting SOS messages on various forum boards. It hadn't worked, though. I couldn't post anything. I could receive messages, but not post anything. No chats, no emails. Somebody out there was watching us, at the orders of those two men. Why were they giving us access to information? I couldn't tell. A few hours after I'd begun looking around on the internet, I'd happened to look at the top stories on Taboo News. One headline stuck out at me. Riot in Shibuya Scramble Crossing. And then it happened. Yo, earthquake? Yeah. The third melt, I believe. First, there was the rumbling. The floor, no, the whole building began to violently shake. Next, a terrible ringing in my ears. It was the high-pitched sound of something resonating that threatened to split open my head. I looked over at Sena and saw she was holding her ears in pain. And then, an intense, violent rumbling. Like somebody had thrown the building into a blender. I couldn't stay standing. I fell and started to roll, and quickly slammed back first into a wall. Sena was crouching in a ball in the middle of the room. And above her, the monitors hanging from the ceiling were swaying like pendulums. The whole world started to move in slow motion. The monitors started to slow down, and with a dull crack, the aluminum posts holding them up broke. They fell, slowly, right toward Sena. I'd experienced this feeling before, hadn't I? Yeah, that's right, when ISA had jumped off the school building. She was going to die. If one of those huge monitors fell on her head, she'd die. I couldn't get there in time. She was at least 5 meters away, and I didn't have the courage you'd need to sacrifice yourself to save a 3D girl. Instead, though, a delusion formed in my mind. In the delusion, I was running across the shaking floor, grabbing her in my arms and saving her heroically. Yeah, do that! Do that! It all happened in an instant. I blinked, and in that moment, my body teleported over to Sena, and I grabbed her and rolled out of the way. I could hear the monitor slamming down into the floor right next to me. The room had been so dark, but now my vision was white. There was an ear-piercing explosion, and then a shockwave even bigger than the others assaulted me. And then I passed out. How much time had passed? My mind felt like it was floating in the darkness. Like there was something close, frustratingly close. I faintly felt something warm, and then slowly opened my eyes. Alright. Everybody's alive. I guess. I hope. Sena's face was right in front of me. Her long hair was draping down my cheeks. The sensation of her breathing was touching my nose. Her eyes were closed, but her eyelashes were twitching. She seemed to just be unconscious. Hooray! She was so close. If I wanted to kiss her, I could, but I didn't because I'm not that big of a piece of shit. I tried to back away, but I couldn't move. Only then did I realize the situation I was in. Yeah, this is pretty awkward, for sure. I looked around, but it was too dark to see. It was like there was a thin veil over me. I realized what it was. Dust. We were buried in the rubble. I hadn't gone blind. There were no gaps to see out of anywhere around us. We were wedged in a tiny space. If I tried to move my limbs, I could hear the sound of pebbles falling. Yeah, don't do that. When I heard that, I stopped moving. A cold sweat formed on my forehead. Was there an earthquake? There'd been a lot of them in Shibuya lately. Maybe they were leading up to this one? Had Tokyo finally been hit with the next superquake? And then the Nozomi building collapsed, maybe? I remembered the terrorist attack that had hit America a few years ago, and instantly felt miserable. We were trapped in the rubble, but we were safe. Maybe we'd been incredibly lucky. Of course, there was no telling how long that luck would last. The rubble around us was in a state of precarious balance. I couldn't tell, but it was possible there was more than... But it was possible that there was 10 tons more rubble right on top of it. If we moved too much and destroyed that balance, the rubble would crush us inside of a second. I shivered as I imagined what would happen then, and I stopped moving. I don't want to die. I don't want to die here, crushed, without knowing where I am. Someone, please come save me. The self-defense force, this rescue squad. I don't care who. Just come save me. I listened to see if I could hear anyone, but there was only an eerie silence. The only thing I could hear was Sena's breathing. Damn it. How could she stay asleep at a time like this? I mean, unconsciousness, I imagine. I don't think it's necessarily sleep, my guy. She was lying right on top of me, her body tight against mine. Her body was pressing down on me. Her chest, her stomach, her legs, almost her entire body was on top of me. It was heavy. It was heavy, but I could also feel the softness of her body. I could still feel her breath tickling my cheek. Did it seem a little sweet because of all the garu-garikuns she ate? Her breathing was deep, rhythmic, and with each breath, her chest heaved slightly, and every time it did, I could feel it. Really with this music? Really? You're really gonna hit me with the doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo? Oh my god. Hold on, I have to adjust from the whiplash right now. Just... Alright. I gotta recover from that. Was this some new type of torture? My mind wasn't going to last 5 minutes against this question mark? Why is there... That's not a question. I needed to wake her up and get out of here. Wake her up? Was that safe? If she woke up, what would she do? Sena was always glaring at everybody, regardless of who they were. At a minimum, she called me a pervert. She might even go crazy and try to rip my throat out with her teeth. We were close enough, and since she was on top, she could do it. I wouldn't be able to run. Maybe that was going too far, but it was certainly possible that Sena would panic when she woke up. She'd panic and struggle to bring the rubble down on top of us. What was I supposed to do? What is this music? Why is this music playing? This is not thematically appropriate for what is going on right now. Why? Why? I wanted to put my hands to my temples and think. I couldn't, so instead I settled for bashing my head against the rubble below. If nothing else, it would stop me from getting horny for Sena. Too late, my dude. I think you're a little too late on that. Don't think about it. You're not interested in 3D girls. You like 2D girls. Think about Seirutan's face. Don't think about Sena's tits. Oh my god. She's all stuck up anyway. Not your type. She's not turning you on at all. Don't get horny. Oh my god. Don't get horny. Don't get horny. I was so horny. Wait. Maybe I could have my way with Sena while she was asleep. Maybe I could... Oh god, I really have to say these things. Maybe I could lick the lips that were always saying all those mean things. No. Not a good idea to go for the lips first. I wasn't ready for that yet. Maybe I could lick her cheek? What did a 3D girl's skin taste like? Okay, this is like going like... This is extending into some like Buffalo Bill territory. It's getting weird. And that's saying something. Like weirder sweat, or was it sweet maybe? Perhaps she was sweating out the Garugari-kuns through osmosis. What? Not osmosis. What's the opposite of osmosis? The division one. I don't remember. It doesn't matter. I froze and ended the delusion I was forming in my mind. Thank fuck. I could hear her voice mixed in with her breathing. It was soft like a whisper, and weak, far weaker than you'd think from the haughty way she always spoke. Oh. She was mumbling. Her eyes were still closed. She wasn't awake yet. I was relieved to see that she hadn't read my mind and found out what I'd been thinking a second ago. A small tear came down from one of her closed eyes, and then it fell on my cheek. It was so warm, but it quickly cooled. Ever since, even Sena cried sometimes, huh? I started to feel a little depressed. What had happened between her and her father? I need to recover from this new whiplash. This is like, man, I'm getting two of those. Are we gonna get a third one of those? Because I don't know if my neck can take it. All right, I need to wear a neck brace to play this game. I tried speaking to her. Her body shivered. Her eyes slowly opened. Our eyes met at a point-blank distance. She was staring at me. Her eyes were only half open, like she was still asleep. Don't look at me. It's embarrassing. And then, after a moment, her face began to turn red. Her eyes went wide as she looked around her. Please don't panic. Please don't move. Don't crush us all.
どうなってる？動いちゃダメだ。瓦礫に押しつぶされちゃうから。瓦礫だと？
I explained to her that we'd been buried alive in the earthquake.
そうか。確かあの時、すごい揺れが来て、上から大きなモニターが落ちてきて、お前が私を助けてくれたんだったな。
I did, actually. I remembered that. I had no idea how I'd done it, but I had.
礼を言う。私が守ってやる約束だったんだがな。まさか西条に助けられるとは。もっとダメなやつだと思っていたが、意外と男らしいじゃないか。
Wow, what a shit thing to say.
どうも。
What an awful, awful thing to say. That wasn't something I ever expected to hear. The first part. The second part was pretty cool. It might have been the first time in my life I'd gotten a compliment from a 3D girl. It's a shame that compliment was preceded by an insult, but you know. You take what you can get. Of course, Seiratan was always telling me how amazing I was.
だが、この状況は良くないな。
密着してるもんね。
バカ、そうじゃないだろう。ここで生き埋めになってることの方だ。
ごめん。
Yeah, that too, I guess.
まあ、密着してるのも良くない状況だが。
セナのギガロマニアックスの力で何とかしてよ。できるでしょ。
難しいかもしれないが、やるだけやってみよう。西条、私の目を見ろ。
なんで？
お前と私の間で周囲共通認識を作るためだ。
Look in her eyes? It was already embarrassing enough being so close. If I looked into her eyes, I might lose control entirely.
ぐずぐずするな。聞こえなかったのか？
Yeah, don't do that.
私の目を見ろ。
I reluctantly obeyed. I gazed into Sena's eyes. She was gazing back at me. And I looked at him, and he looked at me, and I looked at him. All right. I love that song. This is really embarrassing. I never locked eyes with a girl for so long. I never looked people in the eyes when I spoke anyway. So I wasn't used to this. Same, dude. Same. The fact that her eyes met meant, naturally, she was looking only at me. Right now, I was reflected in her eyes, and nothing else was. I was filling her whole vision, and I was so close. Just imagining it made this embarrassing situation seem as sexual as a scene in an H-game. Yeah, I'm sorry. I have H-game brain. I have H-game brain. Wait, no delusions. Sena was staring into my eyes. What if she could tell what I was thinking? I mean, we've established she can, right? Like, she's responded to his thoughts like 3 times already. Of course, I knew that you couldn't read somebody's thoughts by looking into their eyes, but Sena was a gigglomaniac, and I'd already seen what Kozupi could do. And her! She's done it! But, like twice already. It's... What are you talking about? Anyway, this was impossible. I can't stare into a girl's eyes.
西条、目をそらすな。
Wait, Sena wasn't looking at me either.
僕には無理。
そうか。実は私も無理だ。
Oh, that's actually pretty funny.
こんな近い距離じゃ照れる。
Seeing Sena's face this red was a new experience. It was really moe. Wait, maybe she wasn't 3D at all. No 3D girl could be this cute. Sena, you're so cute. Sena!
暑いな。
Sweat was forming on her forehead and along her neck. I was close enough that I could smell it. Why are you smelling your sweat? Stop, dude. There was no wind. We were trapped here under the rubble. We'd be in trouble if We'd be in trouble if there was no way for air to get in. Was there? If not, we'd run out of oxygen before too long. Come to think of it, Sena was running short of breath. Her rather small... Oh my god, the focus on that. Her rather small chest was heaving up and down at a fast pace on top of me.
まさか息苦しい。
うるさい。暑いだけだ。
Damn it. Was she telling the truth or not? Why wouldn't she just use her gigglomaniac power already? She could just make all the rubble disappear like a magic trick, right?
西条、お前の力でなんとかならないか。この状況じゃ私はうまく集中できない。
What? She wanted me to help? What the hell was I supposed to do? When I'd saved Ayase by making that flower bed, or even when I'd saved Sena back there, it had just been a coincidence. I hadn't meant to do it at all. Don't come to me for help. I want you to help me. And stop breathing on me like that. It's torture. I mean it. A drop of... Oh my god. A drop of her sweat fell into my mouth. It was salty. Gross.
勘弁して。
I thought I was going to cry. My mind was about to shatter into a million pieces. I just tasted her sweat. It had fallen into my mouth. This is such a bizarre... Like, it's not even the worst thing
西条、
that's been here, but it's never stops being weird. Her face was red, but I could see she was angrier than she'd been a moment ago.
お前殺すぞ。
All I had done was taste her... You're making me say these things. All I'd done was taste her sweat. Why did she have to kill me over it? And she was the one who dripped it into my mouth in the first place.
この状況でよくそんな。
Then she buried her face in my chest before she finished her sentence, like she couldn't take any more embarrassment. Maybe she hadn't even meant to do it, but for me, it was the most powerfully cute thing she could have done. Gosh, she's so cute! And her breath was going through the gaps in my clothes and right onto my skin. fue. Enough with the fue. I don't want to fue anymore. Sena gasped and looked up. Oh, I wanted her to keep doing it.
やめろよ。お前、何を考えてるんだ。
She was clearly panicking. Maybe Sena was so used to being in charge that she was weak when somebody else got aggressive. Who is being aggressive? You're not being aggressive. What are you talking about?
今すぐ。妄想を封印しろ、西条。お前のその
Oh my god!
股間のあれが硬くなって私の太ももに当たってるんだ、バカが。
Red alert! That's too much! Enough! No! Oh! I'm okay. What? Now that she mentioned it, I could feel it. The softness of Sena's thigh.
妄想するなと言ってるだろう。
Suddenly, she headbutted me right in the face. It was strong and caught me off guard, and it knocked me clean out. Thank Christ. Take a nap, my guy. Oh my god, that was...
私はもう
Yikes.
天聖信仰会に戻る気はない。
実に惜しいね。君の才能を私は買っていたのだ。
利用していたの間違いだろう。私はもうあなたの言葉を信じない。教祖としての倉持雄大の虚像でしかないと分かった。
信仰の救いを君も欲していただろう。
かつての私は欲していた。だが今は違う。
では何を欲しているのか。
償いのために死。
一度信仰に触れた者は離れることなどできない。君は離れたつもりでも信仰はいかなるものを見捨てない。
神に頼る気は神に匹敵するものを作ってしまった私には神にすがることは許されない。
西条、起きろ、西条。
I'd been listening to a really pretentious conversation between two men I didn't recognize. I had heard Sena's whispers in the gaps between their words, and it had woken me up. We were still pressed together. The rubble was all around us, and we couldn't escape.
君は君自身の意志でこの未来を選ぶ。全ては君の責任。だが一人で背負うには重すぎる。信仰の救いがもたらされれば、その重みも多少は減ろう。
そう、私が選んだ。信仰の導きに従った。いや、あなたの言葉に従った結果。
誰かいる。話し声が聞こえるだろう。
I nodded. I could hear two men's voices. They were saying something about the Cosmic Church of the Divine Light. They weren't a rescue team, if nothing else.
あいつだ。あいつが近くにいる。
This close, I could clearly hear the sound of her clenching her jaw.
言葉を語るのをやめるの、倉本。あなたのビジネスは心に響かない。
残念だ。もっとも君がいなくても、すでにノア2は完成している。あとは世界に向けて我らの意志を発信するのみだ。
我らのあなた、異能な王道の
サードネルトの実験成功によりプロジェクトモア試験段階を終了した。
Third voice. What were they talking about? Where were they speaking? If we could hear them, they had to be somewhere near the spot where we were buried. Maybe we weren't as buried as deeply as I thought? That was a statement, not a question. I read it as a question. Sena was fidgeting. Her hands were clinging tightly to my uniform. Tightly, as if she was trying to keep control. Her gaze was lowered. She wasn't looking at me.
これからの世界秩序300人による統治から2人による統治に変わるという今日がその夜明けだよ。
Suddenly, I saw light. The rubble around us began to collapse. Sena gasped and looked up. A hand was reaching down from above, in between the gaps in the rubble.
無事か、セナ。
前
The hand pulled her out. With her off of me, I could move much more easily than before. I crawled out of the gap. We were in a room in the Nozomi building. It was the room we'd been trapped in.
君もノロセ同様に我らが使ってやろうと言っているのにそれを拒否するとは統治側ではなく家畜として生きるのが望みかね
Most of the monitors had fallen, and their screens had cracked. Of course, they were all black. The walls were crumbling too, but it wasn't as bad as I'd thought. We were buried alive, but not by that much rubble. We could have escaped at any time we wanted to. I felt like an idiot for not moving because I was scared of being crushed. No, that's the right move, honestly, in that situation. Sena was standing... Please don't do that. Sena was standing in front of a man I didn't recognize. His eyes were milky, and he was wearing a filthy coat. He looked like he was homeless. I felt like I'd seen him somewhere before, but I couldn't remember where. Maybe we just passed each other in Shibuya somewhere. There was no one there but the two of them. The two voices we'd heard, that of the Cosmic Church's leader and the Diet member, were coming out of a speaker somewhere in the room.
おや旗野やどうやら親子で感動の対面を果たしたようだね
Daughter. Sena was his daughter? I remembered hearing the name Hatano from Sena before.
せいぜい再会の喜びでも語っているがいい。そしてそこから眺めているのだな。世界が変革していく様を。
ノア2をフル稼働させれば渋谷だけでなく世界中の全ての人間に作用を及ぼすことが可能だ。そのネットワークはすでに構築され
Suddenly, the voice from the speaker stopped. I heard a strange sound. The power to the speakers hadn't shut off. Something had happened.
今のって。
銃声。
Oh, they dead. After the gunshot, we heard panting and a ragged frail voice.
バカな。こんなはずでは。私はこれから統治者に。
A dying scream. It ended midway, and no further sound came from the speaker. There was a strange silence. What had just happened?
殺されたんじゃ。
殺された？誰に？
知らないよ。
Where had they been when they were talking to us through the speaker? Somewhere close? It had to be somewhere in the building at least. Which meant that whoever killed them, they were right nearby us.
逃げようよ。殺人鬼がここに来るかも。
だから、殺人鬼って誰だ？なんであの二人は殺された？いや、殺されたと判断した根拠は？
落ち着け、セナ。
お前には聞いてない。
悲鳴聞いたでしょ。殺されたとしか思えないよ。
But who killed them? Shogun? But Shogun was working for Nozomi, right? No, that was just a guess I'd made. I didn't have any evidence for it at all.
逃げるのは少し面倒だ。このビルは崩れかかっている。あちこちに歪みが生じている。私がこの部屋に入ってきた直後に、入り口が瓦礫で塞がれてしまった。
Hatano was right, but it felt like there was an awful lot of rubble on the ground compared to the damage in the walls. It felt wrong. But of course, I'd never been to any abandoned buildings before. I didn't really know how much rubble was normal or how walls looked when they collapsed. What I did know, however, was that we'd escaped from being buried alive, but we were still trapped.
ディソードで壊せばいい。
I finally realized that the strange, high-pitched noise I'd heard when we were locked in the room had vanished. The earthquake must have destroyed the device making the noise. The porter? Was that what they were called? Maybe Sena could do something then. Relieved, I waited for Sena to make us a way out. But instead of summoning her sword, she was just staring at Hatano.
あの二人と何を話していた？
昔話だ。互いに分かり合うことのできない。ね。
分かり合うことのできない？本当にそうか？今でもつながりがあるんじゃないのか？この半年、どこで何をしていた？今になってこの場所に都合よく現れたのはなぜだ？このビルのどこかで私たちをモニタしていたからじゃないのか？
私はこの半年、渋谷を徘徊していただけの死にたがりだ。天聖振興会にものぞみテクノロジーにも戻るつもりはない。
Sena snarled at him before turning to me.
あの二人が殺されたと思う根拠は？
それはだから。
I mean, to be fair, gunshots and screams, that's a good combo for, you know, that makes it a fair guess that they were killed. Just saying.
彼らは敵が多い。
Hatano interrupted.
誰に殺されても納得できる。
お前には聞いてないと言っているだろう。
でもほら、悲鳴とか銃声が聞こえて。
That's fair. I think that's fair.
本当にそうか？単なる演技の可能性は？そもそもスピーカーから聞こえていたあの二人の声はリアルタイムのものか？
I mean, it's possible. What did she mean?
地震対策がしっかりしてる日本で、のぞみグループという日本を代表する巨大企業の本社ビルがこれほどの地震被害を受けている。それだけとんでもない地震が起きたということだ。そんな状況でなぜあの二人はこの部屋のスピーカーでベラベラと裏事情を話してくれたんだ？
So that's also a fair point. There was a small gap between her words, as if she was still trying to figure all this out for herself. Their secrets. Noah too, the third melt. I hadn't understood most of what they'd said.
これ見よがしに感じる。奴らは裏事情を私たちに意図的に聞かせる必要があったのかもしれない。あの二人は実在しているのか？地震が起きる前にすでに死んでいた可能性は？西条、私もお前もこのビルに乗り込んでからあの二人とは一度も会っていない。そうだな。
でもモニターで喋ってた。
モニターの中でだろ？実際に会ったわけじゃない。あんなものいくらでも細工できる。スピーカーについても言うまでもない。何か変だ。不可解だ。
He's not
それに
wrong.
私は
Hatano interrupted her. He was looking at me intently.
西条匠君、君がそうなのか。そうか、君が。
Yeah, you're an asshole. I don't like you. you're a piece of shit. Then his tone was sharp as a knife.
もう一度聞く。お前はなぜここにいる？
お前たちを助けに来た。いや、殺されに来たというのが本心かもしれない。
心配しなくてもすぐに殺してやる。でもその前に質問に答えろ。私たちがここにいることをどうして知っていた？
強い心の呼びかけを感じた。
ギガロマニアックスでもないお前がどうしてそれを感じることができるんだ？いや、ギガロマニアックスでさえ心の呼びかけなんていう曖昧な妄想を感知できるのはごく一部だけだ。
Like Kozupi, maybe? Come to think of it, where was Kozupi? Was she caught up in the earthquake? I hoped she was okay.
本当に感じたのか？最初から知っていたんじゃないのか？私たちがこの部屋におびき寄せられたことを。
冷静になれ、セナ。憎しみに心を支配されているぞ。
冷静になれだと？ずっと殺したいと思っていた人間を目の前にして冷静でいられるはずがないだろう。
考えすぎてはいけない。物事は陰謀論ほど複雑ではなく、もっとシンプルだ。
この場にお前が現れるのは都合が良すぎるんだ。最初から仕組まれたことじゃないのか？この部屋におびき出されて監禁された私たち、地震直後に現れたお前という存在、スピーカーからのこれ見よがしの陰謀論風な演説とその不可解な中断。そもそもこの部屋が望みのビルである確証もない。私たちが気絶している間に別の場所に運び込まれていたとしたら、望みのビルに内装だけ模してある部屋、地震など起きていなくて散乱している瓦礫も人為的に配置したもの。
The more she talked, the less I knew what to believe. I felt like all the things I thought I knew were crumbling, one by one.
疑心暗鬼は己を滅ぼす。気をしっかり持て、セナ。
お前に名前を呼ばれたくはない。会話をするつもりもない。質問に答えろ。
地震は起きた。確実にだ。渋谷のあらゆる建物は崩壊しかかっている。死傷者は4桁以上だろう。
それを証明する方法を持っているのか？
その壁を崩してみるといい。
I was about to say, we could just go outside and
理想度で
look at it. Sena waved her right hand as if knocking something away. The D-sword appeared instantly. It's so cool. It's so cool. She brought it down on the wall without any hesitation whatsoever. It sliced clean through it, like a hot knife through butter. The wall collapsed, and a cold, strong wind blew into our faces. We could see what lay beyond it. What I saw was a bad time. A city of death. Just a few hours ago, Shibuya had been a bustling city filled with bright lights and noise blasting from the big TVs in the square. Now almost every building I recognized as a landmark had collapsed. The ones that hadn't were either tilting over or had huge cracks running down them. Not a single car was running through the streets. In some places, the asphalt had fallen in others it had risen up. There was black smoke rising up all over the city, vanishing into a muddy gray sky. That was what we saw as we looked down from the skyscraper. Sena was just being paranoid, and it had been having an influence on me. This was, without a doubt, the 31st floor of Nozomi HQ, and the earthquake was real. There was no telling when the building would collapse, and if it did, I'd be dead in seconds. I'd be crushed under 100 tons of rubble. Maybe they'd never even find my corpse. I should get out of here now. I shuddered and looked around the room. My eyes stopped instinctively on one of the objects on the floor, one of the monitors. I mean, it's on, which is weird.
単なる地震でここまで被害が大きくなるはずがない。ノア2か。
そうだ。サードメルト。ノア2の最終稼働実験だ。
Half of its LCD screen had shattered completely. The other half was still turned on. Felt like it hadn't been turned on a moment ago, but I couldn't be sure.
サードメルト。お前も関わっているのか。
言っただろう。私はもう半年以上前に望みから逃げ出した人間だよ。
望みだけじゃない。お前は私や母さんや妹からも逃げたんだ。
ああ、認める。
Yeah, you're a monster, dude. You're like a actual monster. I half ignored Sena and Hatano's awkward conversation as I knelt down in front of the monitor. Letters. There were letters on the screen. Were there? Oh, shit. Takumi, are you seeing this? Yes or no? What is K-I-N? Wonder if this is like... I'm supposed to know what this is. K-I-N, open parenthesis, O-Z-E-N-V, period, $sign. Yeah, I ain't got a clue. What the hell was this? A chat conversation? It was saying my name. Why? Seeing what? This was really creepy. Who's writing this? Their name was all messed up. How did they know my name? How did they know I was here? Was it Grimm? Maybe he'd never told me, and he was actually a super hacker? Or was it Shogun again? Was he reading my mind and ready to give me a new quest? An image of Nanami covered in blood flashed through my mind. Right, Nanami was captured somewhere. If this was something involving Nanami, and I didn't answer her, this time they might just kill her. I put the keyboard next to the monitor on my lap, and let out a soft, wordless moan. I didn't even know if this keyboard was connected to the monitor. Praying, I pressed the N key. Also a bunch of other... I pressed a single key. The letter appeared on the monitor. From the look of it, I could type in the chat as guest. I'd answered N, or no, to the question, because I hadn't been specific. What was the this I was supposed to be seeing? I assumed the this was the message, in which case, responding no is really funny. Without knowing the answer, I couldn't say why or yes, especially if Nanami's life was on the line. If you answered the question, that means you're seeing this. Fair enough. It answered me. Glad we were able to contact you. This is the Committee of 300. Oh, shit. Not Shogun? The Committee of 300. I've been hearing that name a lot today. Inohana and Kuramochi, who'd probably been killed a moment ago, both said they were members of the Committee of 300.
西条、どうした？
She peered at the monitor from behind me.
なんだそれは。
わからない。僕に名指しで呼びかけてきて。
Sena Aoi, we're monitoring your presence there as well. Takumi Nishijo, Sena Aoi, Issei Hatano. The three of you are all there, yes? Both Sena and I jerked our heads upwards toward the ceiling. Was there a security camera watching us? I saw a few things that looked like cameras, but all of them had been destroyed in the earthquake. None of them were moving. The other monitors were all silent too.
そいつ何者だ？
This is the Committee of 300.
何を
We've
バカ
already introduced ourselves.
300人委員会だと証明することはできるのか。
Read above.
西条、そう打ち込め。
Some tells me you don't need to type. But I mean, they literally responded to you. What do you mean type it to them? Try and keep up, guys. I went to type it, but before I could, the words appeared on the monitor. No, yeah, exactly. No need to, oh god, wait, no, I want to read all that. Stop!
なん
No
だ
need to use the keyboard. We're monitoring you in real time. The cameras aren't in that room. I can assure you that we aren't using any kind of gadgets from your world. What? The easiest way to explain it is to say we're monitoring you from a god's eye view on a level higher than the one you exist on. The concepts and system involved are beyond your ability to understand. And unfortunately, there's no way for us to prove to you that we are the Committee of 300. You'll just have to believe us. That's bullshit. I call bullshit. You're telling me you can literally see from a perspective that cannot be comprehended by us mere mortals, but you can't prove who you are, who you say you are. That's nonsense. That is
ノア2の攻撃？それともギガロマニアックスからの妄想攻撃か？
that is, as the kids would say, cap.
西条、こいつが将軍の可能性は？
How the hell could I tell from just a few lines of chat? I shook my head with tears in my eyes, and Sena answered with a glare.
さっき胃の花と倉持を殺した殺人鬼じゃ。
いや、むしろ可能性が一番高いのはこいつが胃の花か倉持のどちらかということだろう。300人委員会を名乗ってるぐらいだしな。
Sena pointed the D sword at Hatano. It was sharp, huge and sharp, and and she was waving it around with just one hand.
あるいはお前の差し金による罠かもしれない。
私がこのような細工をする意味はない。
It was exhausting having a monitor on the floor. I had to crouch down to read the text in the darkness. I knocked the rubble off a table and put the monitor on top of it.
倉持と井の花以外の300人委員会メンバーかもしれない。何しろ300人いるのだから。
いずれにせよ、こいつが本物ならという前提がつく。自分から名乗る黒幕はドラマや映画の中だけだ。
本物か偽物かという判断は今はそれほど優先されるべきことではない。重要なのはこの自称300人委員会メンバーが井の花と倉持を殺した殺人鬼なのかそうでないかだ。
Well, that answers that. We eliminated Kuramochi and Inohana. The two men had really been killed? They were trying to betray us, you see. Of course, we've been well aware. Oh my god, it's moving!
委員会メンバー同士の
We've been
内部抗争か。
We've been well aware of this for some time now. We didn't eliminate them because they were a threat. The chance of their plan succeeding was 0. But programs with errors must be eliminated. Consider it debugging. Oh my god.
倉持たちがモニターしていた部屋からコンタクトしてきているかもしれない。
でもだったらなんでスピーカーを使わないの？
声を聞かれたくないからだろう。正体を知られたくないんだ。
僕らの知ってる誰かなの？
書き込んでいる男はかなり慎重だということだよ。いや、男かどうかも不明だが。
この書き込みをしているのが井の花か倉持で単なる自作自演だとしたら。
井の花と倉持の2人での仲違いだというのか？
そうかもしれないし、 実は二人とも生きていて私たちを騙しているだけかもしれない。
騙す意図について推測できているのか？
Seem to have misunderstood. Neither Inohana nor Kuramochi were members of the Committee of 300. They were simply convinced that they were because we
何者
convinced
だって
them.
言うんだ。神だとでも言うつもりか。
They were convenient pawns, cover. This was equally true for anyone who appears in the things you read about the Committee of 300. The true committee never reveals itself to the public. It couldn't, even if it wanted to do such a thing. It doesn't exist in your world. Well, first of all, you're contradicting yourself immediately because it couldn't even if it wanted to, even though you're literally doing it right now. What are you talking about? It doesn't exist in your world. Well, here you are.
このチャット相手との議論はしない方がいいかもしれない。相手の意図が不明だ。言葉しか見えないのではいくらでもフェイクの情報を織り交ぜることができる。
He had a point, but the person in chat kept typing. I had no idea who this Kin Zen $sign was, but they knew a frightening amount about us. The word God is relatively accurate. Oh my god, this pretentious motherfucker.
つまり
There are 300 of us, each with an assigned jurisdiction. All of us exist to control and administer your world. We erase errors and construct order. That is what it means to control. Something came into my mind as I read the words. It was a thought I'd had many times before. Oh yeah, if they have like the God's eye view, maybe they are they the gaze of God?
あなたはゲームマスターっていうこと？
Also that. Yeah, they're the game masters. I'm the player. He keeps talking about me.
どういう意味だ。
演出で言えば開発者側ってこと。もっとわかりやすく言うなら中の人だよ。
I mean, they talk more like they're programmers, talking about debugging, right?
ちっともわからないぞ。
Sena rubbed her temples and frowned. Kids these days. Oh my god. Takumi Nishijo's explanation is accurate. We are
マジで。おお、来たこれ。
We are the game masters who administer the MMORPG's operations. You are characters, whether player or non-player. What? Okay, at this point, they're just fucking with him, right? Like, the theory that made me have all those delusions about someone else controlling me was right. There really was someone else in control of me. Somebody was controlling me the exact same way I controlled Nightheart.
だったら僕の中の人に言ってよ。キャラメイキングを今すぐやり直せって。もっと僕を操作する腕を上げろって。
I'm sorry. I didn't get a character creator. I'm sorry. I tried my best. I screamed at the monitor. I could tell Sena was looking at me confused.
チートコード？
We contacted you because we have a request. If you help us, we're prepared to give you the cheat code. What the fuck is happening?
すごいぞ。チートは裏技みたいなものだよ。
I mean, isn't that kind of what the D-swords and the Gigalomaniac powers are? Wouldn't those be the cheat codes? Those are kind of like cheaty.
演数で言えばそのコードを入力するだけでレベル1だったキャラを一瞬でレベル50にできたり、あとは
I feel like MMOs don't really have cheat codes, right? Like that seems like a bad idea to have cheat codes in an MMO.
ドロップ率 0.025% の超レアアイテムを何の苦労もせずにいきなり手に入れたりできるんだ。もしチートコードがあるなら僕はもう弱っちい肝タじゃなくなるんだ。本当の勇者になれるかも。三次元女子とも気取らずにしゃべられるようになる。
This was the completely unexpected plot twist I've been waiting for. I could be the strongest character, loved by all the girls, without having to do any work at all. I could spend my life playing on God mode with max stats and best in slot gear. Yes, I love you, committee of 300. You are God. I am so hyped. Lol, lol, lol. Lol, lol, lol.
それがチートコードだとして本当にあると思うのか。このチャット相手は高次存在らしいが、そんな神のような存在が私たちと同じ言葉や用語を使っているのはなぜだ。これは罠だ。
Yeah, I think they're just fucking with him at this point. Unfortunately, that hypothesis is incorrect. We're using words you can We're using words you can understand. Our usual language doesn't exist in your world. Bullshit. I didn't even. That is what she said. Yeah, bullshit. It's up to you whether you believe me or not. If you don't, we'll find another method. Oh my god, Takumi, you're so dumb. Want to believe. I'm tired of living my life being afraid of everything. If I could get a power greater than Shogun's, I wouldn't have to be afraid for the rest of my life. Okay, maybe dumb isn't the right word, but... Thank you for your cooperation, Takumi Nishijo. Well, we want you to remove an error, what you call Noah 2. It has a profoundly negative effect on game balance, and may even damage game data. The influence of Noah 2 has left your world running in autistic mode? The fuck does that mean? Is that like actually a term in video games, or am I... It's left your world running in autistic mode. It is no longer responding to our attempts to interact with it. And regardless, a game master does not intervene directly. We are simply administrators. We need your cooperation to remove the error. My head's starting to hurt.
口から出任せにしか思えない。直接介入できないというなら、どうやって井の花と倉持を排除した？協力じゃなくて、私たちを利用したいだけだろ。
We have other cooperators, debuggers you could call them, but they lack the power to destroy Noah 2. A gigalomaniac's power is needed. Another way of describing the situation. We will not deny it, but our interests are aligned at this point, we believe.
巧妙だな。一連の書き込みを見ていると、300人委員会は実在しているとも実在していないとも取れる。これがノア2による攻撃である可能性もある。
でも井の花と倉持がノア2を使って300人委員会を裏切ろうとしてたのは本当のことだったじゃないか。あいつら自身がそう説明してたよ。
あの時点から妄想による攻撃が始まっていたとしたら、さっきも言っただろ。モニターやスピーカーで喋っていた井の花と倉持が本物である証拠は一つもない。
さっきからセナは疑ってばかりじゃないか。
この状況で信じられるのは自分だけだ。世界は全て電気仕掛けで、電気信号に細工するだけで簡単に見ているものを捏造できる。ここから見える崩壊した渋谷の光景も、この瓦礫だらけの部屋も、300人委員会を名乗る存在からの書き込みも。
She's getting very difficult to deal with. She's letting her paranoia run a little crazy here. Trust no one, not even yourself situation. Which at this point isn't very helpful. She gave Hatano a glance.
この男ですらも偽物かもしれないんだ。
セナ。
If emotions are electrical in nature, your hatred of your father is simply something programmed to you. Human death is no different. The horrible deaths of your mother and sister should mean nothing to you. Or are you prepared to tell us we're wrong? Sena clenched her jaw hard. The frown on her face deepened.
これは妄想だ。私の心への攻撃だ。惑わされないぞ。
Let us offer you this then. Succeed in destroying Noah 2, and we'll bring your mother and sister back to life. You just said you can't interfere directly. That's about as direct as it gets. This is so so insanely bullshit.
でも
But now they're offering something that I want.
チートコードなら可能かも。何しろ相手は神だし。
If they literally can bring people back from the dead, then what was that bullshit about them not being able to interfere directly? That's nonsense. You out of your mind. The entire world runs on electricity. Those were your worlds. Those were your words. Oh my god, I said it again. Those were your words, Sena Aoi. An electrical system is, at its most fundamental level, digital data. Life and death are nothing but illusions. Creating a perfect restoration of a dead woman, including her memories, is a simple matter. For a game master, that is. But that's cap. Nah.
お前はそう信じたいだけだ。現実に蘇ることなどない。
うるさい。お前は黙ってろ。
心の負い目につけ込まれているぞ。相手は巧妙だ。
To be fair, I don't like this guy either. Fuck this guy too, but
こいつは神などではない。今確信した。ただの詐欺師だ。神は自己完結した存在でなければならない。生死の概念そのものを持ち合わせていないし、理解できない。そういう存在だ。
黙れと言ってるだろ。お前の宗教観は聞いてない。
She pointed the D sword at him again.
元はといえばお前がいけないんだ。お前が母さんを殺しさえしなければ。
Also true.
その償いはするつもりだ。私を殺しても構わない。むしろ私はそれを望む。だから母さんを蘇らせようなどという虚言を信じるな。
そうやって逃げようとするのが一番許せないんだ。
Ugh, now's not the time to be arguing with daddy, okay? Maybe I should just ignore them and get the cheat code for myself. Takumi, my dude.
今決めた。
Not you too.
お前は殺さない。ノア2を破壊して母さんが生き返っても
Oh my god,
お前には合わせない。
You're both idiots.
そして一生
Oh my
後悔し
god.
続けろ。
どこまでも純粋だ
What
な。
is that from? I often reference that, and I don't even remember what it is I'm referencing. It's like, oh my god, you're both idiots. What is that from? It's gonna drive me nuts.
感情に突き動かされながら電気仕掛けの世界を願うか。お前は矛盾している。すまない。私がお前をそうさせてしまった。
父親面をするな。今さらそんな顔しても私はお前を認めない。おい、私たちを見ているお前。
Me? You talking to me? Oh, no, them. Okay, the committee. Right. Whoever's pretending to be the committee. I thought she was talking to me. I was like, what? Sena screamed as she looked up at the ceiling.
チートコードの入手方法を教えろ。
Now she's calling it the cheat code. Oh my god, they're so dumb. Hatano said nothing more. He just looked sad. I mean, I fucking hate this guy, but I which makes me hate the fact that he's the only rational one here. Even worse. Like, I hate that. Sena, talk to me. Use your brains for like a second. Ugh. And it's settled. The cheat code has already been loaded into your world. But as we said, we are being blocked from interacting with your world. Then how are you gonna? Then how would you bring people back to life? You're contradicting yourself. Oh, just a little bit, just a lot of it. We couldn't choose where it appeared. We want you to go get it. Underground in Shibuya Station. Go to the coin lockers near the Fukutoshin line. It's inside locker number 1009. Sena Aoi has one of the IC chip cards used by Japan's public transportation systems, correct? God, sure on top of things. Oh my god. The lockers use these cards for locking, identification, and payment. We've loaded the necessary data onto her card already.
チートコードってどんな形をしてるの?
We can't tell from here. What kind of gadget it becomes in your world is not a major concern. No matter what form it takes, the cheat takes effect when its lock is disabled and the code is in your hands. To disable the gadget's lock, you must destroy the gadget. Your target, Noah 2, is directly above the locker. It's in the planetarium at the east entrance to Shibuya Station. Once you've acquired the cheat code, destroy the planetarium. That will put an end to all this. Good luck. Okay. And then the monitor went black. I could hear a clunk sound from inside as it died. I hadn't turned it off. It turned off on its own. I was excited. I'd met God, the person who controlled me. The world consisted of different layers, and I'd spoken to a being from a higher one. I was going to get the cheat code. I could say goodbye to my crappy life. My God, you people are stupid. I could be invincible. Nobody could scare me now. Not Shogun, not Yua, not Nozomi Technologies. I'd won! For once, I was one of life's winners. Well, you know what all those anti-drug PSAs said in the 90s or whatever. Cheaters never win, right? Was that the anti-drug PSA? It was some kind of weird PSAs. I wanted to head to Shibuya Station right away. I wanted that cheat code so badly. But Sena wasn't as eager as I was, it looked like. Her head was slumped. She was pointing her sword at Hatano. Yeah, it's almost like she has had this, like, lifelong obsession with, well, not lifelong. Murdering her father.
Sena.
She's not gonna put that away easily. Sena sighed just a little when I said her name, and then lowered the weapon. She walked past Hatano without giving him another glance, and idly waved the D-sword in her hand. The rubble blocking the exit shattered into tiny pieces.
Equal.
Her voice was quiet, with no trace of the excitement present just a few moments ago. Issei Hatano watched his daughter and Takumi Nishijo leave, then sat down in the rubble. I want to talk with God a little more, he'd said, and stayed behind alone. His daughter Sena looked like she'd wanted to say something to him, but instead, she shot him an annoyed glance before turning away. She'd left the room without saying anything. Hatano had said nothing to her either.
300人委員会まだ見ているのか?
He said to the empty, powered-off screen. There was no answer for a moment, but he kept staring. After a moment, the monitor powered itself on, and the chat window reappeared. Why? Why? In other words, yes.
なぜセナと西条匠なんだ? 300人委員会にとってこちらの世界はどのような定義なのか? ゲームか実験場か牧場か
Of the Gigolomaniacs present in Shibuya, they were the ones we were most likely to contact successfully. No other reason. You're referring to the Human Cultivation Project. That's nothing but a delusion asserted by a few conspiracy theorists. We've told you already, we do not intervene directly in your world, except when we do, apparently. The Human Cultivation Project. It was a phrase you heard whenever you read conspiracies about the Committee of 300. The committee wanted to establish a single unified world government and construct a new order. All but a chosen few would be kept under permanent brainwashing by the silent weapons and so become unknowing slaves. Like cattle, they would offer their flesh, their milk, their labor, their children, and their lives to their masters. If it ever became real, it would be the cruelest, most systematic utopia possible for mankind. Humans would have no will of their own. They would become automatons, living happily even while oppressed. They wouldn't even know what was happening to them, so no one would ever complain.
世界人間牧場計画が妄想だとしても、沈黙の兵器は妄想ではない。現にノア2が存在している。そして世界は再びお前たちの秩序のもとに置かれるのか。無自覚の奴隷としてお前たちに搾取され続けるのか。
That's where the error we mentioned comes into play. You, Takumi Nishijo, and Genichi Norose all created it. We are trying to fix it. As he spoke, a terrifying possibility occurred to him.
世界人間牧場計画はすでに完了している。最初の質問に答えろ。
An interesting idea, but an inappropriate metaphor. From the perspective of God, it would be more appropriate to say that you were cattle from the moment the world was created. That, however, is simply a metaphor.
300人委員会にとってこちらの世界はゲームなのか実験場なのか牧場なのか。
I don't even know how to pronounce that. Committee of 300 fell silent at his question. Committee of 300.
時間？
It's time.
時間とは何のことだ？
It is necessary that the Committee of 300 remain nothing more than a ridiculous conspiracy theory.
君たちだと。まさかセナや西条匠も。
Anyone who knows too much will be eliminated, as Inohana and Kuromochi were, and the three of you are no exception. When you made contact with us, you became our... Really? Okay, that's rude. That was rude. The monitor went black again. I didn't even get to read what it said. It was as good as a death sentence.
Sena.
I really wanted to read what that said. I legitimately don't know what that said. Hatsuno bit his lip and quickly stood up. If he hurried, he might still catch up with them. He had to tell them it was a trap. You're telling me it was a trap? No way! They're not actually gonna bring her mother and sister back to life and give Takumi the ultimate Super Chad cheat code? Oh god, I'm being summoned. That was weird. He didn't want his daughter to die. He'd killed his wife and daughter's little sister. His wife and his daughter's little sister. Wouldn't that just be his daughter? Okay. She was all he had left. No matter how much she hated him, he wanted her to live. I mean, that's fair. He's still a piece of shit. I still hate that guy. So he ran. But he never made it out of the Nozomi Technologies building. Oh shit. There was the sound of an explosion and a violent shaking. It wasn't the earthquake. From the sound, it was clear that someone had set a bomb. But knowing that didn't help him. The floor beneath him fell, and what looked like the gates of hell opened up beneath him and swallowed him up. Oh well. Rip that guy. Only after making it down to the street level did I really understand just how big the earthquake was. There was nothing left of the brightly lit city I knew. The city had died. It was a city of death. I could see piles of people lying on top of each other, unmoving. Blood puddles lying in the road. Nobody was alive. Everybody was dead. Hatano said the casualties would be in the 4-digit range, and it was Noah 2 that had caused all this. This wasn't a natural disaster. Disaster wasn't the right word at all. This was a slaughter. Sena was walking a little ahead of me. Her expression was as pained as mine. Hatano wasn't with us. He'd stayed behind in the Nozomi Technologies building. He sure did. He was, supposedly, Sena's father, but it certainly didn't look like that to me. She seemed to hate him. The two of them brought up her mother and sister a few times. What had happened between them? Whatever it was what broke her. I wasn't going to ask for details. I wouldn't even know what to say. My priority now was getting the cheat code. As long as I had it, I wouldn't need Sena to protect me. I would be safe on my own. Okay. Suddenly, I heard a rumbling behind us. I thought it might be another earthquake and quickly dropped to the ground, but the earth wasn't shaking. I turned around nervously. A second ago, the Nozomi building had been behind us. That's not right. Now I saw a column of smoke rising into the sky, like a volcano had erupted. The building itself was gone. Had it collapsed? Hatano was still inside. Well. Sena let out a moan. She looked up at the huge column of smoke, which was now covering the sky. Then she saw me looking at her and turned away, but her shoulders were shaking.
だったらあの人も生き返らせればいい。
I knew he was gonna say that. What? So dumb. With the cheat code, it was possible. At least, it should be possible. If we were willing to believe the Committee of 300, that is.
殺すために生き返らせるのか。非効率的だな。
She laughed and then broke into tears. I didn't know what to say to her, so I said nothing. She held in the tears for a while, and then seemed to work up a resolve to start walking again. There were no more tears in her eyes. I quickly followed after her. The underground area of Shibuya Station was a complicated maze, with platforms for the Hanzoman line and the newly established Fukutoshin line. Also, the Ginza line was a subway, but its platform was on the second floor above ground for some reason. Then it's the whole point of a subway that it's underground, hence the sub. Isn't that what the sub? Am I wrong? Am I incorrect in assuming that the sub in Subway like means underground? It refers to the fact that it's under. Anyways, if you looked at it on a map, it would be easy to mistake it for a dungeon in a video game. I played Shin Megami Tensei 4. And I guess some of the other ones too. The earthquake had caved in all the staircases too, burying them in the rubble. That's the most recent one I played. Sena had blasted through them with her D-sword, so we were able to get through, but in the darkness, it took a long time to find the locker we were looking for. The air... I was about to say the air calculators. The air circulators were all broken too, so the air was filled with dust. I was coughing with every step, and I thought I'd choked to death. There were bodies everywhere too. The smell of rot was palpable. The locker we were looking for was undamaged and upright. And for some reason, it had electricity even while the others didn't. The IC card reader screen was lit up. Man, for all their we can't intervene directly in your world, they sure are intervening a lot directly in their world. Turning on screens, communicating via messages, keeping electricity running to the very specific locker, sending things. It's, you know, it seems pretty direct to me. I don't know. Please press the button you want to use, it said. There were two buttons, insert and remove. I don't know, open it and we'll find out. This locker had been here before the earthquake. Countless people had walked past it. Normally, no one even noticed these things. How many people even used these lockers in the train stations? Were there that many of them? If you looked closely at them, you'd often find that most of them were full. And there were urban legends that said somewhere out there was a locker that never opened, one with something unbelievable inside. These legends had been around for decades, and they were perfectly believable. A locker like this was a small, tiny space right next to your everyday life where the unnatural could hide. I pressed the button to remove and was prompted to put my card up against the screen's IC reader. Sena took her IC card out of her pocket and slowly moved it toward the screen. There was a beep, and then the sudden sound of a lock opening. With everything so quiet down here, it sounded far louder than it normally might have. Supposedly there's a gadget of some kind inside. Both Sena and I stood there. We both took a quick look around us. It was time to meet the cheat code, whatever the hell it was. Please don't be creepy or gross, I thought. Personally, I'd like, a Seiratan figure. Well, you're gonna have to destroy it, so maybe don't wish for that. Sena wiped the sweat off her forehead. 1009番だったな。It was the second from the left, third from the bottom. The number was written in big letters on the door. The door to locker 1009 was open slightly. It was too dark to see through the gap and tell what was inside. Sena and I froze as we stared at the locker. You opened the door. I could feel Sena thinking it, even if she didn't say it. I'd been trying to silently pressure her into opening the door, too, so I couldn't complain. I thought about doing rock, paper, scissors to decide, but there wasn't time, and it wouldn't be appropriate anyway.
Sena.
You should open it, I went to say, but before I could... No, you do it. Sena took a step back and raised her sword. Good excuse, Sena. Good excuse. What did wrong mean? She looked like she was ready to stab me in the back if I didn't do what she wanted. My throat was parched from nervousness. I told myself that if I could only make it... Oh my god. I told myself that if I could only make it through this, I could be a hero. I put my hand on the partially open door.
あ
Slowly, the door opened. I was expecting something big and dramatic to happen, but nothing did. And inside was...
なんだこれは
It's gonna be something horrifying. It's gonna be something horrifying. Sena and I were both silent as we stared into the locker. Something wrapped in white? It was bigger than I expected it to be. That's not white. That's not white, guys. That's pink. But okay. I reached out to it and... horrifying. Come on, dude. No. Is it gonna be the gross emaciated baby? I didn't want to have to deal with that again, okay? Like, there was a sudden cry and I pulled back my hand. What? No way.
赤ちゃん
There was a living baby in the locker? There was a big blow up There was a big blow up a few decades ago when a baby had been left in a locker like this. The coin locker baby, they called it. I guess it was still happening today. I was gonna make a joke about the lockers. I was like, oh man, this reminds me of the ending of the Yakuza 7. And then this, and it just, oh man, that really is that. Okay, cool. No, forget that. Where's the cheat code? They said it was gonna be a gadget. Baby ain't no gadget. Check the number on the door again. Yup, it was locker 1009, which meant you really... Oh wait, no, this isn't our locker. Sena picked up the screaming baby gingerly, like it was something very fragile that could break at any moment. The baby's cries were getting louder and louder. Sena stood there frozen, looking for me to help. I don't think it's a real baby. I think it's gonna be an icky baby corpse.
どうしたらいいんだ
Don't ask me. I think you should breastfeed it.
死ね
She got mad at me. Could Sena tell what delusions I was having? Also, that face is... Mwah. That face is great.
この赤ちゃんがチートコードだよ
Yep. Which meant that could only mean one thing. Gotta kill it. Don't, though. More importantly, don't, though. If this baby was the cheat code, we had to destroy it to activate it. Destroy it. That meant killing it. Sena glared at me. She wrapped her arms around the baby to protect it. Yeah, don't kill the baby. Stop.
できるわけないだろうあの地震をこんな暗くて狭い場所でたった一人で生き延びたんだぞ
I don't think it's real. If I'm being honest, I don't think it's real. But if it is, I'm with her. Don't kill the baby.
それはチートコードだよ地震が起きた後にここに現れたんだ
I'm on team don't kill the baby.
それは人間じゃないそう見えてるだけで
あの自称300人委員会の言葉を信じればな
Okay, you don't get to say that. Bitch, you came here under every assumption that everything they said was real. Miss, I'm gonna resurrect my mom and sister. Alright.
もし違ったら
All of a sudden they're like, she's really just like, I'm gonna assume people are lying if it's convenient for me.
あるいは
Then again,
もともとここに
don't
置
kill
き
the
去り
baby.
にされていたこの子に後からチートコードだけを埋め込んだかもしれないんだぞ
Sena was so loud and furious that I took a step back. I couldn't look her in the eye, but I tried my best to argue.
だってしょうがないじゃないかそれを壊さないとチートが
Talk to me? Listen. If I lost to Sena here, I wouldn't get the cheat code. I'd be a creepy otaku for the rest of my life. But if you did get the cheat code, you would be a baby murderer, which in my opinion, little bit worse. Just a little bit worse.
この子に触ってみろ西条。この子のぬくもりを感じてみろ。こんな小さい子、お前は殺せるのか?
Although if this goes where I think it's going, something tells me that baby's already dead. Of course not. I'm completely harmless. That's why it's your job. But of course, I couldn't say that.
セナは矛盾してる。
Yeah, she's been doing that a lot.
ここに来るまではやる気満々だったじゃないか。世界は電気仕掛けなんでしょ。だったらその子も単なる人形だ。
でも泣いてる。
Sena held the baby gently. This wasn't the grumpy, cranky Sena I knew. Her face was filled with compassion.
この子は今泣いてるんだ西条。
This was crazy. Was Sena just another crazy chick? You gotta be a crazy chick for not wanting to murder a baby. Like, if you don't want to kill that baby, you're crazy. Apparently. Oh, I'm sorry.
シートを発動させてノア2を壊さなきゃ君の家族だって生き返らないぞ。
Priorities, my guy.
なんでためらうんだよ。
この子は生きているからだ。殺せない。私には。
だったら自分が殺してあげるっすよ。
Oh my god, the worst person in the world is here. Hooray! I was hoping he'd show up. I'm lying. I was not hoping he'd show up. Oh. Did he really just... Did he really just... A roar. I dropped into a crouch out of sheer reflex, with no idea what was going on. Do we really have to deal with this guy on God mode? Did he just acquire the cheat code? Also, he killed the baby, I think. I thought he couldn't get worse. I was incorrect. I looked around, still low to the ground, and saw a man standing near the Fukoto-shin line turnstiles. He was holding something in his hands. A gun, probably. Jesus Christ, I truly did not think he could get worse. Sena's voice was hoarse. I could see her hands were turning red with blood. Jesus fucking Christ. No, it wasn't Sena. It was the baby baby he was holding. Not quite. The white towels it was wrapped in were turning red at a frightening pace. Jesus Christ. Her body was shaking.
相変わらず自分の射撃の腕素晴らしすぎっすよね。
I hate this man so much. I hate him so much. He was wearing a suit and walking toward us with a grin on his face. There was a big backpack on his back.
こんなところで何の相談してるんすか？っていうかその赤ん坊なんなんす？もしかしてあれっすか？二人の隠し子できちゃった？最近の高校生はなってないっすね。
That's not how time works, dude.
ま、別にどうでもいいっすけど。自分は君たちを始末しに来たんすよ。ノア2の近くで目障りなことされると困るんで。
Wait, so his job was to come here and kill the two of them, and the first thing he was like, well, no, I'm gonna kill the baby first. Baby is completely unrelated and irrelevant, but I'm a monster, and I want to kill that baby. He was with Nozomi then? I felt like I'd seen him somewhere before, but I couldn't remember. Why did he have a gun? He was going to kill us. We had to escape.
さて、それじゃあまずそっちの危なっかしい通り魔女子高生から始末しましょうかね。
He raised the gun. He was aiming it at Sena, but Sena was just holding the baby and sobbing. What was I supposed to do? I have the cheat code now. Do you? What do? I'm invincible now. I can't protect Sena. I'm invincible. I can do whatever I want. I put myself between Sena and the gun. A moment later, I felt a terrible impact and burning pain in my chest. My uniform was turning red. I'd been shot.
おーっとかっこいいっすね西条匠くん身を挺して女を守るなんて男の鏡っすでもそれもいつまで持つかな
Jesus Christ. With each gunshot I heard, another hole opened up in my body. So, he does not have the cheat code, and he's not invincible, it would seem. Blood splattered everywhere. The pain started to wreak havoc on my nerves. Sena was still looking at me motionlessly, tears in her eyes as she held the baby. The towels were mostly covered in red now. I couldn't tell if it was the baby's blood or my own. Thank you, Sena. Very helpful. You don't say.
シートコードを使って。でも私どうしたら
I don't know, turn on infinite lives or something. Crap, I'm starting to pass out. It hurts, 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 it hurts. Nobody told me it was gonna hurt like this. The cheat code would give me invincibility, but if Sena didn't activate it, I was going to die. Someone was approaching me from behind. I could sense the murderous desire radiating from them. I felt something hard against my back. My wounds felt like they were on fire, but the sensation was ice cold. Is it the other half of the murder party tag team duo?
よく頑張ったっす
The
ね
worst people in the world?
でもこれで終わりっすこの至近距離で心臓をズドンとやればさすがのギガロマニアックスでも死亡確定っすから
セナ早く
Sena was just crying. Was this the end? I had the cheat code now, but it wasn't going to do me any good.
くたばれクソガキ
Then the sensation on my back disappeared. I thought I'd been shot, but instead of a gunshot, I heard the sound of something shaking the air.
俺の
Yo, did he get...
俺の腕が
He got Skywalkered. White wings, shining and dancing in the air. But we were underground. There were no birds anywhere. Half passed out from the pain, I slowly turned around. And I saw... Oh, hey! You exist. I remember you. So I was expecting to see you here. She was holding a sword I'd never seen before. It was beautiful and terrible to look at. Rimi was there. Rimi, the girl who'd abandoned me. She was looking at me with a sad smile. Blood was pouring from the man's arm. It had been severed clean at the elbow. The hand with the gun was lying on the ground. Had Rimi done that? Hey, nice. Hey, good job.
俺の手をよくわ
ナナちゃんにひどいことしたくせに
And also the other shit. He's also just kind of a monster, like in every sense of the word. Just kind of like the worst human being ever. Rimi looked away from me. She stood up in front of the man as if she was protecting us.
早く外へ 事情は大体理解してるから。
Oh, cool. She's up to speed.
ノア2を壊して、葵さん、タク。
She read the patch notes. Her loud voice snapped me out of my drowsiness. The slightest movement made terrible pain run through my body. I wanted to collapse right where I stood. I didn't want to move. I didn't want to think. I didn't want to die. I started to pass out again. I could feel the blood pouring from all the holes in my body. As despair and the terror of death threatened to overcome me, I wrapped my hand around Sena's shoulder.
行こう。今のうちに。
すまない。日常。私をかばって。そんなに血が。
Her eyes were soaked with tears. I'd never seen her cry before. Come to think of it, I wasn't sure I'd even thought she was capable of crying. And only now, with my hand around her shoulder, did I realize for the first time just how frail her body was. Sena probably wasn't special either. Real-life girls were just thin like this. Normally she was arrogant, bossy, and always felt eager to step on my face. So oddly specific, alright. But Sena was a girl after all. Don't worry, Sena, there's nothing for you to cry about. If we can get that cheat code, I'll be fine. I'll be just fine. I clenched my jaw and started to walk. Behind me, I could hear a strange noise and a piercing, resonating sound. I didn't look back. We arrived above ground. I was leaving a trail of blood behind me. I'd lost a lot of blood. At first, the wounds had felt so hot, but now they were so cold. No matter how hard I tried to keep control, my body shivered horribly. My teeth were chattering. I looked up and saw a planetarium in front of me. There was something strange about it. The other buildings around it had collapsed, or had huge cracks spreading through them. The planetarium building, however, was completely unharmed. That building had been torn down years ago, I thought. Why was it still here? Why had I never wondered about the fact that it was still here? Was it someone's gigalomaniac power? Or Noah too? Either way, it must have been because of the cheat code that I noticed. All that was left was to activate the cheat and destroy the planetarium. Sena couldn't keep me up anymore. I fell to the ground.
Sena. Cheat.
It hurt to even talk. Sena's eyes were going between me and the baby. She was shaking her head softly and shivering. No, my eyes are going blurry. Without the cheat code, I'll die.
日常、しっかりしろ。こんなのって。死なないで。お願いだから。なあ、日常。世界は天気仕掛けなんかじゃないんだ。私はただ思い込みたかっただけ。母さんと妹を見殺しにしかできなかった自分が許せなくて、気持ち悪いと吐いてしまった自分が許せなくて、二人が死んだのも父さんがあんなことしたのも全部信じたくなくて、感情だって捨て去りたくて。だけどダメなんだ。どうやったって父さんを憎んでしまうし、母さんや妹の死んだことが悲しいし、自分が許せないし、この子死なせたくないんだ。
Damn it. Sena was useless. I'd have to do this myself. Don't! Takumi, don't! Takumi, you fucking moron! I reached my head out toward the baby, the bloody baby Sena was holding. Is he gonna bite it? What is he doing?
貸して。それを。
Sena refused to let go.
師匠やめろ。もう死んでるよ。
Oh, is it? Oh, shit. Sena gasped, realizing I was right. I yanked the baby from her hands. Oh, yeah. I mean, it did get shot, now that I think about it. I kind of forgot that it got shot. I ignored her sobs and held the baby in my arms. Come on, cheat code. Give me power. Up, down, left, right, BA start! And then a pale light, a strange color. A glowing sword was lying at my feet. The D-sword! I forgot the pain as I reached down to pick it up. So the cheat code was D-sword early unlock. What's the cheat code? It was huge, but shockingly light, like holding air. I was sure of it. This was the real thing. It wasn't a toy. Way to go, cheat code. I'd worked so hard to get a D-sword and failed, and now here it was in my hands. I used what little strength I had left to stand up. My wounds hadn't healed, but now I was invincible. I could cure myself in an instant. There was nothing to fear. With Sena currently useless, man, he's an asshole. I'd destroy Noah 2 myself. I feel the power welling up inside my body. I felt like I could do anything I wanted to. I had a power that rivaled God. I swung the sword. I was aiming for the planetarium, which was eerily lit up.
壊してやる。これで終わりに。
Gunshot. Blood spurted out from my chest. And then, incredible pain. For a moment, I stopped breathing. My vision blacked out. I could feel something awful deep in my throat. When I coughed, I could taste blood in my mouth. God, that's so red. That's so red. Had the man shot me again? Hadn't Remy been holding him off? I looked around, and then I gasped. There were so many people there. They were surrounding Sena and I. They all had the same dead eyes. They all had guns in their hands. They were all aiming at me. And all of them were whispering something. Golly gosh, I wonder what they're whispering. Oh, that's not what I was... Equally terrifying. It's not what I thought they'd be whispering.
信仰の救いあれ。信仰の救いあれ。セナ、伏せて。
They all fired at once. There's a lot of being shot going around. The bullets tore through my body, ripping my flesh and severing my bones. The impact hit me hard and blew me off my feet. I danced like a puppet. Pain hit my mind directly and almost made me pass out. Wait, what did it say? And made me almost pass out. But I stayed standing. I had the D-sword held high with one hand. I'll destroy you. I prayed. I'll destroy Noah too. No matter how much of a mess I am, I won't die. I can't die. I brought down the sword. A red arc of light shot out from it. There was a flash in the night sky. It shot out toward the dome, a blade of light tearing through the darkness. It headed straight for the planetarium. And was repelled by an unseen power. It was like there was an invisible wall between it and me. The light from the D-sword was deflected and disappeared. Silence. The ones who'd shot at me, Sena, myself, all of us were watching in shock. Even the cheat code wasn't good enough? Was it impossible to destroy Noah 2? One more shot. I couldn't let it end here. I spat up blood. The Sweat was getting in my eyes. I barely felt any pain. I was losing feeling in my whole body. Maybe my nerves were paralyzed. One more shot. I'm strong. The strongest. I've got the cheat code. So just one more shot. I raised the sword. Enough with that. Stop. Scream, and another gunshot. That was like 5 gunshots. Come on now. Sena threw herself on top of me. This time, it was her turn to save me.
Sena.
私も手伝うよ。
Double sword slash power? Sena held my bloody body tightly. She clenched my hand, the one that was holding the D-sword. Sena's body was so warm, it almost felt hot. It must have been the heat of her blood. That last bullet had pierced her body. This was the heat of the blood pouring from her beating heart. Okay, that's a cool image. Oh, is this the cool music? Is this like the... I love this song, dude. Alright. I'm gonna jam it up a little bit, just a little bit. I love this song. It's so good. This is pretty badass, I'm not gonna lie. Not just because of the music, but mostly because of the music. I just... Sena's voice echoed in my fading mind. Had she finally recovered? She was crying so much. She was covered in blood after getting hurt defending a creepy otaku like me. Both Sena and I were covered in blood. But I could feel Sena's warmth, and I could hear Sena's voice. We held the D-sword high together. I could still hear the gunshots around us. But it was too late. The power was welling up inside me, stronger than before. I could feel the powerful pulsing of Sena's life. I destroyed the device whose power rivaled God, using the power of God. This time, it would work. I nodded. And Sena and I. Hell yeah! Brought down the sword with all our strength. There was a powerful flash of light. A flash of light that ripped apart the whole world. A red light that split the night into two. A red blade that seemed as if it would... A red blade that seemed as if it might reach all the way to the moon itself. It annihilated everything it touched. The planetarium burned to ash, along with its unseen wall. The impact and wind were incredible. I thought they'd rip me apart. The people around us were being blown away. But still, Sena and I supported each other's bodies. We held the baby tight, protecting it. And we used every bit of power we had. I wasn't thinking at all about what came next. With the cheat code, I could heal my wounds. All I needed to focus on now was destroying Noah 2. I kept pouring all my power into it, letting it burst forth. The sound disappeared. The light vanished. Sena and I were standing there, silently, in the middle of the dead, ruined city. Sena was clinging to me, and I was leaning up against her. We were holding the bloody baby between us. I couldn't move another step. I couldn't move another inch. I didn't have the strength left.
もういいんだ。悲しいけど、もういいんだ。死んだ人を生き返らせるのなんてエゴでしかないから。チートコードは返そう。
I agreed, and we were alive. We had to live our lives for the sake of those who had died.
ごめん。
Sena softly held the bloody baby.
ごめん。死なせてしまって。ごめん。
Sena sure was crying a lot today. Really, dude? Really? I think it's fair. You know what? I think we should give her a pass on this. I'm just, you know. But she was a lot prettier now than she was when she was mad at everybody all the time. And her tears were beautiful too. I thought about that as I looked up at the night sky. Sure. Okay. All right, that was a weird one. They're all weird. I love that song. I cannot get over how good that song is. I love that one. Just the music in these games is incredible. I still don't. I still think the committee of 300. I still think it's bullshit. But like now, I'm like, was it real with the cheat code? That's so weird though. I don't understand. My brain is too smooth to like fully comprehend everything that this game throws at me. That like. I mean, I don't know. I'm sure I'm missing like a million things because I'm just like, I'm not following it. I missed something. But you know what I don't miss? These tunes. I love these.
エラーは全て消滅。ノア2とノロセ源一の消去も確認したわ。オリジナルの西条拓は確保済み。虫の息だけどね。
So they took out Neurosei. We didn't even see him. We just deleted him. That's actually kind of funny. It's like we deleted him from like outside the
コピーの
building.
西条拓
It's great.
および畑野瀬名は予定通り任務を実行後共に死んだわ。
Oh.
今後も引き続き調査は続行するけど、おそらく畑野瀬名も西条拓もエラーは生み出さなかったんでしょ。それでいいんじゃない？私の仕事も減ったことだし。あ、そうそう。ついでに周りをうろちょろしてた天聖振興会の信者連中も処分しといたから。
Do I know this voice? Should I recognize this voice?
先畑リミンには逃げられたみたいだけど、まあ、脅威にはならないでしょ。
It sounds really familiar. Is it a character? God, it's gonna drive me nuts.
世界人間牧場計画の予定には若干の修正が必要ね。
What the hell is this?
でも、今回の一連のエラーは計画へと利用を還元できると判断するわ。結果的には300人委員会に何らの不利益も生じない。了解。デバッガード任務は終了します。以後、監視者の役割に戻るわ。あら、この子、生きてるわね。
The baby! Don't you
二
kill
人は
that
命
baby.
を与えたのかしら。
I'm gonna be mad. Don't you kill that baby.
見なかったことにしますか。私は独身だし、子供はちょっと苦手なんだけど。ミルクは手に入るかしらね。この渋谷で。
I mean, God, that voice sounds so freaking familiar. Deus Ex Machina. Oh my God, what was that voice? I swear I've heard that freaking voice before. Oh, that is gonna drive me to actual insanity. I mean, I'm sure it's gonna be revealed. Maybe. I don't know. I don't expect anything anymore. I don't making predictions or anything. But boy, howdy, that's gonna bug me, cause debug. What's that? Oh my God. Oh my God, that's gonna drive me nuts. All right, I gotta end it. Why am I in the extra menu? I don't know. I'm going to the sound library. Why? I don't know. Let's see how many still locked songs there are. Which one is the one that's like super awesome? That like gets me like hype the second it shows up. It's this one. The song is dope, dude. This is like, you instantly feel the power. It is just the second it starts up, it's like, you're like, you're fighting. This is the you're instantly fighting and winning. This is it. All right, I have to go now. Otherwise, I'll never leave. No one wants that. Bye.